Welcome, listeners of Illusion, to the Dungeon of Confusion. Come with us now as we spin you a tale to quicken the heart and chill the blood. But of course, you are not familiar with me or this place. Let me remedy such by stating my name is Artie McNeil, the co-writer of this tale with my friend and your dungeon master for the evening, Nikolai Popsky. Through the question of what if, we created this place with its melancholic overtones and hapless villagers. And we threw down the challenge to any and all who felt themselves brave or foolish enough to step up and experience what we have created, to truly open up the dungeon to the world and see who bit down on the bait. But now I hear a group of such brave fools at our gates. Time alone now will show the true motives of their hearts, for now it's time to raise their portcullis and open the dungeon.
Welcome to episode 7 of the Penance Halloween Project. This week we have Beyond the Tavern. So, who are you? What are you? Where do people know you from? And what are you playing tonight? Starting with Aaron.
Hi, my name's Aaron. I am the normal DM of Beyond the Tavern, 5th edition actual play podcast at BTT Pod. And I am playing Kyren, the Elven Fighter.
Okay, next we have Steven.
Hi, my name's Steven. You can follow me on Twitter at TheCC1. I play Cly in the podcast for BTT. I am playing Squashy, the halfling fighter.
Nailed it. Got it in one.
I'm done.
Leave that all in.
Yeah, okay. If you want me to leave it in, I'll leave it in.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. I guess next we have Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily, and I play Nelia on Beyond the Tavern. She's kind of sweet, kind of naive, kind of dumb, and says a bunch of awkward things, so I'm basically playing myself. So, we're real excited to be here.
Who are you playing tonight?
Tonight, I am playing Render. She's a human magician.
Okay, then we have Kaylin.
Hi, I'm Kaylin. I will be playing Cricket, the human thief, tonight. And I am also from Beyond the Tavern.
And finally, Jacob.
Hi, yeah, I'm also on Beyond the Tavern from time to time. I play Talon. Tonight I'll be playing Christopher Blaine, the Elven Magician.
Cool. Just want to say at this point, if there's any audio weirdness for tonight, it's because everyone on the other side is recording through one computer rather than being separately on Discord. So you will hear less dice roll noises tonight, maybe more dice rolling noises, it depends how loud their dice rolls are. So just putting that in as an addendum now. So, the story itself. You all have independently responded to a plea on a tavern room wall from a wealthy merchant that says he's looking for a group to find his lost son. So as you all arrive in this tavern, you ask the barman, where's this group going, and he points you to a table. You have a bar tab, so you go and just basically drink yourself stupid as it is already. And as you're sitting around this table, after about half an hour, the merchant walks in. He takes a seat at your table and he goes, "Thank you very much for coming. I hope you were all, well stocked from the bar. I have a tale to tell you, and at the end of it I wish you to let me know if you have any questions, but I want you to find my son."
I do believe that I can arrange that for you, sir.
Well, thank you very much, and I know that it seems like I'm already offering a lot of gold, but I know gold can buy loyalty rather than anything else, and if anything, I just want my son to be found. I have a suspicion that something bad may have happened to him, and if at very worst something has indeed happened to him, then at least the closure should let me move on.
Well, I can assure you that if he does still live, you'll find him.
Thank you, my friends. Well, I guess I should start at the beginning and tell you this story. About a year ago, I heard from a couple of my sort of scouts and friends that to the north there's a small fishing village called Eisenport. There apparently there was a lot of disposable wealth, effectively. The locals apparently walk around covered from fingertip to elbow in this elaborate jewelry, and, the whole body seemed to be cased with these pieces of exquisite, gold crafted jewelry. So as a merchant, when somebody tells you that there's this one place that, has all this money, you immediately think, well, maybe I should move in and see if I can, for want of a better word, gain from it. So as I began to prepare to go to this Eisenport, my son approached me and said, "Papa, I want to be the one who leads this expedition." Now, my son is just a child, barely 70 years in elven terms, but I feel that he has been under my feet for long enough, effectively, and now he told me he wants to be a part of this. I beamed with pride, and I wanted to, look forward to him leaving and taking this group up north and hopefully making himself and his future family some form of money so he could at least branch out. In my heart, I knew he would probably fail and come back with his tail between his legs, but that's how you learn in business. As much as I expected to receive letter after letter saying that he has not managed to get anywhere, instead I received letters saying he was still hopeful. He sent me these 3 letters, first of all, that told me that he's still continuing and he's adequately trying to push himself to learn what he could about this strange town and find how he could make this fortune. Then I received another letter, where he seemed to have given up hope and decided that instead of pursuing his dreams of being a wealthy merchant like, his dear old father, I guess, that he wanted to marry and settle down. But my advisor, he told me that it didn't seem like my son. And on reading it again and again, even though the handwriting seemed similar, it does not seem like my son. So I, being a wealthy merchant, decided that the next time that we had a group to go up there, I would say to them, "Please, find Dorian, find my son. Tell him his papa still looks for him, and he wants to know he's okay, and if he has indeed started this new family, that he would at least acknowledge me and let me know that he's doing well." Of the members of the group who returned, very few would even seem to have got anywhere. They spoke to the matriarch, the sort of mayor of the town, I think as it were. She had not heard of my son, nor this woman he seems to have settled down with. And I asked the last group, "Please, just find my son. Ask anyone you can. Find Dorian." They returned, and they told me there is no sign of Dorian, and no one has even heard of him. I am growing to be at my wit's end. I must know what became of my son, if he eloped somewhere with this woman, I suppose, or if he still lives and just, for some reason, been offended by my recent actions somehow. I just need to know what happened to my son.
So, is there any idea of who this lady is that he married?
Well, I have the letters he sent me. The final one that he sent me talks about her, Amelia.
Amelia?
Yes, her name was Melia. It was
Melia.
Some kind of... Well, I don't want to say some kind of woman, but she must have been to win my son's heart. And all the times he lived here with me, he never seemed to show any interest in that kind of thing, but now, maybe, once you're free and single, maybe something comes in, but it does not seem like my son.
Any word from the people he was traveling with? Did they all come back, did you say?
Some of them did, yes. Not all of them. Some of them apparently remained in the north. When I spoke to the groups, they told me that only a couple of them would want to return, that the money was too good to leave. But those who did return they seemed withdrawn. They took their families and they left to go east. They told me they wanted to be as far away from Eisenport as possible.
Well, my money's on this home-wrecking trollop being the problem. So, I'm all for going and finding your son. I think we'll just need an advance on that gold, just for traveling expenses and whatnot.
Yes, of course.
He opens his coat and pulls out a couple of small bags of gold, and he throws one to each of you, holds about 50 gold, and
Yes. Do you think this is enough? Maybe?
Well, how much do you wish?
I'm just saying, like, if this is a very decadent society, I mean, we need to blend in. So.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Well, I suppose I could double it, yes. And he takes out another bag and just chucks you all another 50 gold each.
Well.
But if you can bring me any proof of what happened to my son, or any answers, then I will gladly pay you 400 gold each.
So, just to make sure, are we looking for, like, your son happily married or potentially charmed or dead?
I don't know. I want to believe that Dorian is still alive and has just moved on with his life, but I fear the worst. I fear I cannot lie to his mother anymore. I mean, I am quite an elderly elf as well, but his mother has been bedridden for quite a while, and I want to tell her that Dorian has moved on, but I can't lie to her any longer.
Cricket is going to push their drink off the table and just look at the merchant and say, is there anything that we can say to him? Like a message that lets him know we're from you and we're sincere in our intentions?
Well, all you need to tell him is that his papa loves him and misses him and wants him to come home.
Do you maybe have something like a value that we could take and show him? I mean, something you wouldn't be particularly attached to because things happen on adventures and stuff gets lost. But, anything like that?
Cricket would like to kick Render under the table.
He sort of seems to think for a couple of seconds and said, the only thing I have that he would recognize is my medallion, but he has one the same, so basically you are just looking for an elf who has this, and he sort of runs a hand along his shoulder and up to his neck, and he pulls this medallion out from under the layers of clothing. It looks like a circle with like cord sort of wrapped around it in a very particular pattern.
Does he have any other aliases, nicknames, anything of that sort that he might go by?
Well, as far as I know, he's always been known as Dorian. I mean, the men jokingly called him Dory, but I don't think he liked it. He seemed quite upset by it.
Well, his wife probably goes by Glitter or Sparkle, so it probably won't be too hard to find.
He said her name is Melia.
Yeah, but we're talking about aliases here. I mean, Destiny, Crystal, maybe? Star? Wish?
Well, I mean, we can get to looking for your son here. Probably should head out pretty soon, right?
Well, the cart leaves in the morning. It's only one every few days.
I guess we can take that.
Sounds good
As
to
I
me.
said, I have the letters he sent me, and they don't paint the best picture of what became of my son, but I just need to know what happened.
Will you look at the letters? Yeah, I kind of just want to inspect the letters, kind of see if there's any change in tones from the first ones to the last ones.
Exalted Papa, I have arrived at Eisenport, the rest of the party to begin learning the trade in which you have earned your revered reputation. Truly, this tiny seaside village is a glittering gem comparable to those that nestle in the glistening jewelry adorning every wrist, and even the shoe buckles, belt clasps, and other adornment are bought from the finest gold work crafted by a gentleman called Anders, who is coarse but skilled. All the men have been welcomed warmly, given the best lodgings at the local tavern, and the most mouth-watering delicacies to savor, along with the finest wines the region has to offer. The village is as pretty as a picture, and for all that it is a fishing port, smells only of sweet pine, so evocative of our own sylvan home. Here too, Eisenport has been blessed. Even the hardiest traveler working the richest seas cannot compare to the halls brought by these women in their delicate skiffs. The women are industrious and pretty, and turn their hand to all labor. Abide at home to better teach the children, an unusual arrangement, but one that appears to serve the town. On the morrow, I seek an audience with the mayor of this place, and will tell all I can of the matter. Until then, I remain your devoted son, Dorian. So the next one. Revered Papa, this town is not without its mystery. My meeting with the mayor of the town, called here the Mother, progressed apace of the same eager welcome extended to all, and with the expressed fervent wish that we should stay if we could. Secretly, I believe they may wish us to turn our hand to their labors, as their own men refuse to do. I have spoken with Anders, the goldsmith, who is jealously protective of his craft. Here I have encountered the first obstacle in my quest to learn your trade. Anders will not sell his pieces for trade to other ports, nor will he reveal the skills he uses in creating. I made it clear that a good and fair price would be paid, but the dwarf will not sell, in the typical stubbornness of his race. He muttered something about a price already paid on the pieces. Such a cryptic nature will make him a challenge for... I hope to win him with the offer of haggling or trade, as well as the Dawn Whisper charm. The charm is certainly working on the ladies of the town. Such hospitality and warmth I have save in our own sweet dell. The ladies guard their jewelry with as much jealousy, but with infinitely more sweetness. This one will claim a piece as a birthday charm, another as a scholarly prize, another still as an heirloom, to the point that they too refuse to sell their pieces. The other offers we have had would overwhelm a lesser. Such suggestion and flirting is to be remarked upon in the town, with no sailors to welcome them, but such body suggestion is firmly meant as simply high spirit. The maids here strictly observe the tenets of their faith, not so much to be alone with a man without first being wed. Such chastity couples with such flirtation can be distracting, but my heart is strong. I have come here to please you, Papa, and to give you, and truly, this is what I shall do. Until then, I remain your... Okay, so... Anybody want to say anything, or...
Let's go for the next one.
Okay.
Just to be clear, is it Dorian Dawn Whisper?
Yes, Dorian Dawn Whisper's my son, yes.
I thought he was like some kind of the charm, but I was confused, sorry.
It's fine, I apologize. I have not introduced myself properly. My name is Florian Dawn Whisper.
Papa, forgive the brevity of this letter and my absence from returning to the entire party. A discussion was had, and it was believed that all of us had been away from our families too long. It did not help that the Eisenport women were driving the men to distraction. Even Beothan, with his beautiful young wife and 3 strapping lads at home, had had his eye linger too long on the Eisenport beauties. Luck was with us that only his eye wandered. Look Ezra in the eye upon return with nary a blush. Papa, I'm not satisfied with Eisenport. There is a great wealth to be had here, an oyster to be prized upon. The rub is discovering where best to place the leverage. Until I advise otherwise, I remain the trade contact in the north. All requests, reports, and other writings can be sent on the fastest carriage or by falcon if urgent. This pearl of a place will be mine. I remain your son, Dorian. Now, that letter took quite a tonal shift, as it were, but did potentially give us some information as to where he was saying. And you said that you had somebody go previously to try and find your son, and they didn't have any...
Yes, I sent several men who I trusted, who I've known for many years and trust very, very heavily, that I sent them as basically my word in my hand, and thought maybe they might be able to find him, but there was nothing.
And they went to the trade contact that he mentions in this letter?
Well, he wanted to be in charge of trade up north, and since his disappearance, we've not really had a trade contact anymore.
Is this Beothan still within the city?
He was another one of those who returned, and he seemed changed. He took his family and he left to the east, and when I spoke to him before he left, he just sort of seemed adamant that he wanted to just get as far away as possible from Eisenport.
And he didn't mention your son at all upon his return back?
I asked him how Dorian was, and he told me that Dorian was surprisingly level-headed, but he seemed not obsessed, but growing that way about becoming the trade contact.
And you said you had a 4th letter, is that correct?
I do. I have one final letter from my son. This is the last one I received.
Father, I have ceased my trade in the north. I have made the decision to settle permanently in I have found a bride, Melia, and ask for your nuptial blessing. I hope we will be as happy as you and mother were, and hope to raise your children as you strong, wise, and full.
That seems a little short.
For somebody saying he found a wife.
And you've had a good relationship with him, right?
Well, as I said, he's my son, and he's basically been under my feet for 70 years. I know it sounds wrong to say under my feet, I guess, but he has been there almost constantly, and he's been by my side every day for at least the last 50.
And he's never shown any signs of discontent, I guess.
No, he's always just been a very... Well, he's never shown discontent, no. He's always been quite... Well, I say noble blood, but he's always been quite reserved and quite ambitious, yes, but careful about it, not like overplaying his hand, if you know as well.
Cricket would like to take the letters. Can I investigate them to see if maybe the handwriting is different or anything just looks out of place between 1 and 4?
Yep. You look at it, and although it looks very similar to you, and you can't seem to get any differences that would make you think otherwise.
Okay.
Do you happen to know if this Azinport holds any particular god in higher regard than others, or if there's a dominant religion, as it were?
I spoke to the men about this when they returned. What religion is part of Eisenport? For, as you see, some people have mentioned that this sort of wealth is linked to their religion, but all I got from the men is it's something to do with the sea. They didn't take much in it, and the women didn't really seem to want to talk about it, and very few people wish to discuss religion, so the men didn't seem to ask.
Now, how influential has your son been? Because if I were to wager, he might have fallen into some sort of cult or something like that. Seems to be kind of almost the tonality of these letters is strange. Is he willful boy, or is he a bit of a follower?
I wouldn't describe Dorian as being gullible, but he might have thought to try and, get in with people to try and improve his, well, for want of a better word, merchant contacts by sort of being involved in groups. Maybe that was something, but he wasn't a fool. He was relatively, level-headed and had quite a good understanding of how people work.
I mean, at the same time, if he was so level-headed, maybe his wife just is that gorgeous.
I mean, many of the men, when they returned from Eisenport, did speak of the women. They said they were very pretty.
Well, I'm up for visiting this city myself.
Yes, I don't know what else to look for. Not much of a reader, so I couldn't examine these much further.
Right, well, I appreciate that you are all very interested in travelling, and I'm very grateful. As I said, if you can bring me proof or anything that my son has been here, or at least of where he went, it would ease a lot of my heart at the moment. The caravan leaves first thing in the morning. I will leave the bar tab open. You can drink as much as you like, as long as you're on that caravan. And he rises up and says, "Is there anything else you need of me before I leave?"
Did you cover our expenses for that caravan, or that part of our advance?
Your trip has been paid for.
Well,
There and back has been paid for. As far as I'm aware, the trip takes 2 days to get there. As a small overnight stop and in on the way, you will have to pay for your own accommodation there, I'm afraid, but it can't be that expensive. And the cart should get to Eisenport and stay there for a couple of days before it returns.
Well, I do appreciate forthcomingness with all of this information, and if there's anything else you think of this evening, please don't hesitate to find us in them. Kyron will stand up and extend his hand to shake for.
He shakes your hand and bows to you all. If you have nothing else to ask him, he takes his leave.
Yeah.
Good night, Mr. Don Whisper. And Cricket will wave.
Okay, so he heads off, and the rest of you spend the night drinking and discussing what you've just heard. Next morning, you get up and you head down towards the cart. There seems to be a middle-aged looking man preparing this cart, and it seems to be a single person and a horse. The cart itself is it's basically kind of like your standard old school cart, but it's got a roof to it. So it's not fancy enough to be called a carriage, but it's somewhere between cart and carriage.
Okay.
So as you all approach and begin to throw your gear into the cart, he sort of pulls out a scrap of paper, checks your names, puts it back in his pocket and says, "Right, okay." Stands and sort of grabs a handbell and starts ringing it and says, "Anyone else for Eisenport?" And after a couple of minutes of there being basically no reaction from anyone nearby, you all set off and you head towards this very dense woods off the side of the city. So as you're journeying through this sort of dense woods, you look around and all of you are sort of relatively content, as it were, for the travel at the moment, and eventually you just sort of burst out of this very dense forest, and you see on to the left and right of you lots of forester parties that seem to be made up of men and women who just seem to be like, chopping down trees and sort of moving them in towards a sawmill kind of thing. But the men you see are quite scrawny looking. They're not the, well, for want of a better word, like beefy idiots you usually expect in this kind of thing, like obvious manual labourers. All the men seem to be like kind of thin, kind of scrawny, kind of young, as in they don't really look like they've been doing it a long time.
So they're not the atypical lumberjack.
No.
Okay.
As you pull into town, the coach driver gets off and says, "I need to be feeding Flash, so while I feed him, you'll be here for about an hour or so, maybe 2, so just amuse yourselves. I mean, there's an inn there, there's not a shop anymore, but there used to be. There's a lake." And he sort of shrugs and goes back to feeding his horse. The sort of small town you're in is called Missenden, and there's, as he's described, there's an inn. It looks like it could have been a guild hall, but it's been long since closed. It looks almost deserted, like it's been hurriedly emptied and deserted, as in there's like dust and cobwebs and everything all over it. And there's a lake behind the inn. There's also like housing, but it looks like it was temporary housing that's just been there so long it's become, normal housing, but it doesn't look like it was built with like long term in mind. So what do you do?
I'd want to just go to the inn, maybe speak to the locals just about what the city's like, what we're about to go into, if they have any ideas.
Okay, so you make your way towards the inn. What's everyone else doing?
Render has a fishing pole and a penchant for fishing, and so she'd like to go down to the river and maybe chat up anybody that's there.
Okay.
River, pond, lake, body of water with fish in it.
Okay. And anyone else?
Squashy's gonna hop into the back of the cart, go find his bag, open it, pull out his fishing rod, and head to the lake as well.
Okay. Good.
Kyron's going to go examine the abandoned guild building.
Okay.
Because movies have taught me anything, it's always split up.
Okay. And what's Cricket doing?
Cricket is
she's-
AFK, so she's
Oh yeah,
taking
she's AFK. Okay, well we'll get her to retroactively work what she's doing after that. So let's go to the inn with Chris Blaine. So you walk into this inn, and in front of you it's not too busy, it's about half full. There seems to be like a lot of men sitting around, but for every man that's sitting around, there's a couple of women like sitting around, looking around with them. There seems to be about a 60-40 split, female to male. And as you walk in, you hear very strange sounds from directly above you in the rooms upstairs. And the barmaid sort of like gestures you over, asks you what drinks you want.
I'll just have a water for now, just passing through.
Okay, she sort of looks at you a bit sort of like, oh, fair enough, and gets you your water. She's like, do you want to buy any information or anything?
Buy information,
Well, you're only drinking water, so I'm not giving it free.
Alright, whatever, just give me an ale then.
And
I'll
she
buy one of those.
gets you an ale, pushes it towards you.
I did have a question though. This city Eisenport that I'm heading to, do you know what it's like? You ever been there?
Immediately you feel the whole room sort of quieten down whenever you say the word Eisenport. And the barmaid goes, let me guess, you're a labourer.
No, actually, I'm a magician. I'm gonna make like a flashy hand signal.
Pick a card.
She sort of goes, yeah. Are you married?
No.
That makes
You?
a change.
What kind of?
You hear her sort of like grumbling under her breath, and then she says, all the men are the same. They go up to Eisenport, they meet their dream women, and they leave their beloved wives at home with raising kids.
Well, good thing I don't have any kids, and I'm actually already looking. Her name's Melia. You ever heard of her?
She looks at you kind of blankly and just sort of shakes her head. No,
Huh,
not
alright.
for the Melia. There's Tabitha if you want Tabitha. I mean, she's only like, 10 gold for 10 minutes. She's just with a client at the moment.
Oh, that. No, I think I'm alright for that. I only got like,
At this point, you hear the sort of ruckus upstairs slowly stopping, and it's the sound of it's like, and it suddenly seems to stop. And the barmaid goes, oh, Tabitha's finished if you're really interested.
I might take you up on that, but thanks. Give me like 40 minutes to decide.
So, over the course of the next 5 minutes, you see this very scrawny looking forester walk down the stairs, whistling to himself, readjusting his belt, and walks out the front door. A couple of minutes following this, you see a girl in a slightly torn red dress stagger her way down the stairs, looking really awkward on her feet.
You alright there?
Roll perception, looking at her to see what you can notice.
We are rolling hot tonight.
High rolling.
You basically look at her, she just seems to be, in a world of her own, in your opinion. So you walk up to her and you're like, how are you doing? And you notice her kind of look at you with a sort of dazed expression on her face, and she goes, 10 gold, 10 minutes.
Oh no.
I just need the nail first. And she sort of staggers past to the bar and throws some coin in the bar, grabs an ale and just slugs it back.
That's impressive, but alright. I'll bite. I think at this point Chris is so confused, but he wants information. He'd probably just go sit down at the bar.
Okay. So you go and sit down at the bar while the girl was sort of glugging back ale. And while she's doing that, we will cut to the two folk at the river, which, is it Render and Squashy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, the two of you sort of go around the river, you see two men sort of sitting on the edge of the bank fishing. What do you do?
Render's going to come and sit fairly close to them and give them a little polite hello and then try to impress them with her fishing skills.
Okay.
Here's some fancy casting.
Roll to fish then.
That's a 10.
Okay, you think you've got something, you sort of whip it out and you've pulled up a very old rusted sword.
Ah, dang. This is very fruitful. What are you guys catching? Swords?
The sort of two men look at you quite oh well. They just go, yeah, we don't catch fish, we just sort of sitting around and sometimes it gives us something to do.
Well, if there's one thing I love doing, it's sitting around and doing nothing. What can you tell me about this city? Guys, there seems to be this weird air around here that everybody's kind of unhappy and kind of scraggly looking. What's going on around here?
The two men sort of go, what do you mean unhappy? And what city are you talking about?
Generally, I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'll just try to phrase it differently. They don't seem to be lumberjacks that are cutting down these trees. Just kind of, I don't know, regular people. Where are all your lumberjacks?
They both sort of look at each other and go, oh, well, the rest of the men leave and they get offered jobs up north. We got easy pickings in here. We're getting paid really well cutting down trees.
Squashy's just going to be whistling, walking straight past the two, and just keep walking down the shoreline, just a little bit further, even further away, and then start fishing.
At this point, another man seems to sort of walk around and join the two men, and he goes, alright, what's your name then? To Render.
I'm Render. It's nice to meet you.
He sort of gives you a slightly crooked smile. It's as if he's not used to smiling.
Is this like a leering kind of thing?
He sort of just seems to smile at you in a very strange way, and you notice he seems to be staring at different parts of you, and then shoots his head back up to look you in the face and goes, so, are you new in town? You coming to work here?
Yeah, I just took a contract with, what is the tavern called here? I never remember. Just float around so much. But I was hoping to get to know the area, some of the locals. What do you guys do here for fun?
The sort of guy with a crooked smile goes, oh, I know what I like to do for fun. And he just seems to grin at you.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. What else?
And the other two men, who don't seem to be as sinister as the other guy, just sort of go, oh, we just fish. The fish are quite passive. Watch this. And he stands up and he turns his fishing rod down like a spear and just stabs it in the water and pulls it out with a fish on the end and goes, yeah, they don't really do anything. They're very docile. And the fish at the end that he stabbed sort of meekly flips a couple of times and then just stops. He's like, yeah, there's not really any sport here in fishing, but passes the time, you know? We're not on shift again for another couple of hours.
What do you guys know about the fishing up north? I was thinking about taking a little trip up there, seeing what's what.
Apparently there's a lot of fish in the far north in Eisenport, but my brother was up in that Bishop under Puddle place, and he says that the fish there were, rancid, so no real gain up there either.
I've heard some weird things about the sea up there. What do you think that's about?
Oh, it's just the sea, There's lots of things in the sea.
Lots of things. Okay. If one were to want, to go up to Isengard, was it? Would you?
They're not hobbits, they're not going somewhere.
Don't use that word. Copyright issues.
Tolkien will come back from the grave.
Like Bloody Mary. So, if I were to want to go up there, what would be the best way? All the guys that come back from Eisenport, what do they suggest when you get there?
The men sort of shrug and say, well, apparently once you make it in Eisenport, that's you made for life, because they pay really well. And then you get contacts, and you never seem to end up in a place like this again, eating this swill. And he nods towards the inn.
You've never been tempted to head up there?
Well, apparently there's meant to be a, recruitment drive happening soon from Eisenport, but we've been here about, 5 months, Jim? Aye, 5 months. And they've not been down yet, but apparently they're usually every about 6 months or so we're keeping our heads up.
Okay. Well, can you show me that funny little trick about dabbing your pole through the fish?
He sort of starts just pointing to the fish in the lake. The fish seem incredibly docile, as in you can wave your hand above the water and they don't seem to react for 4 or 5 seconds after. It's like they're either sluggish or there's something strange going on.
That has me thinking, is there any way that I can investigate or test magically the water? I'm not sure, but
doing a camera check.
That's a 10.
Okay. You do a very quick check of the water. You can't seem to find anything obvious that's the cause, but the fish definitely seem to be sluggish and something strange is going on, but you can't seem to work out anything more than that.
Okay, can I take some of the water with me?
Yep, if you've got a flask on you can take some water. You don't seem to have any flasks on you. Squashy's got some flasks on him, you could ask him to grab some.
Yeah, I'm gonna go bum one of those off of him.
Alright. You notice the two of the men that were there originally are just indifferent to you being there. The third guy is following where you're walking. He seems to be quite obsessed with you already.
Okay. You wouldn't happen to have some kind of a bottle, would you? Any kind of flask, container, Tupperware?
He sort of reaches into his pocket and pulls out a very cheap looking bottle of alcohol and he hands it to you. He's got a couple of dregs left and he says, don't worry, I drink it all the time.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna do one of those things where you put the bottle up to your mouth, but it drains out the side and you're not actually drinking in it. It's like a over your shoulder kind of thing.
Roll to try and fill him. So just do an actual d20 roll.
Okay. Please. That's a 13.
Yeah, you feel him fine. He just seems to be too busy. He seems to sort of be looking down to your feet and then back up again a lot, so he doesn't seem to be paying attention.
Yeah, well. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of wince and, well, that's strong stuff. Thanks for the bottle, though, and start filling it with water.
As you sort of do that, we will cut back to Siren, who's looking at the Guildhall building.
Yep.
So you walk up to the building. It seems like a very old, it's kind of like an old abandoned shop. What do you want to do?
Is it boarded up?
It's not boarded up, but it looks deserted. It's got wooden shutters on the windows and they seem to be closed.
What's the front door look like?
Front door just looks like a generic wooden door. You sort of push it gently to see if it opens and it just rolls open quite easily.
I'm gonna look around real quick and see if anyone is watching me at the moment, and then
you look around, you don't see anyone else. When you push the door properly, you do hear a slight sort of tinkling noise, like a bell coming from the door, but that's about it.
Then I'm going to step inside and just kind of walk around, see if I can see anything odd in here, see if there's any. I'm going to take kind of the butt of my spear and be tapping the floor to see if there might be a basement or anything.
Okay, you walk into the main room. All around you seems to be It's like a couple of old barrels, a couple of old boxes. There doesn't seem to be much of value. And as you sort of look around, you do see lying on the middle of the floor, covered in like a mild layer of dust, there is this spoon.
I'm going to actually just poke it with the butt of my spear first.
Okay, it just seems like a sort of generic wooden spoon. It seems to be made, sort of carved out of one single piece of wood.
I will pocket that.
Okay.
And then keep looking.
As you pocket that, you hear the sound of the bell on the door going, and you spin around to see a small child who looks about 8, maybe 10, going, "Hello.
Oh, good God.
Are you meant to be in here?"
Are you?
Maybe. I don't know, because I can't find anyone who comes here anymore.
Well, I didn't see any signs, so I just kind of assumed it's open to anybody.
Oh, well, my daddy used to come in here and sell things, but he went up north, and since he left, everything's been quiet.
And he just left you here?
No, I'm here with my mummy.
Mom, alright.
Are you staying here?
Only momentarily.
If you are staying in the inn, my mummy does special cuddles for money.
Oh.
She's very good at cuddles. And he sort of nods a lot at you.
And, what would your mother's name be?
Oh. And he sort of looks quite confused, and he's not really sure what to say. As in, he's never really heard her name apart from just being calling her mummy.
So your dad used to run this place?
He nods and then goes, "Well, he used to run it. There used to be lots of men, and they used to sell furniture and lots of other little bits, but since Daddy left, they haven't sold anything. They closed the shop."
Alright, well, did you used to come here with your dad?
He nods and says, "Would you like me to make you a basket? I can make you a basket for 4 gold. And he sort of shows you a bag full of like very thinly cut bits of wood.
You know, how about you show me around this place? Is there any basements or anything like that here?
Oh, there is a basement. And he walks to like one part of the wall, and he seems to like poke one of the bits of wood in the wall, and a door sort of like pops open, and there's a set of stairs leading down.
I will pull out and light my torch and then start walking slowly down the stairs, tapping my spear ahead of me, and just kind of turn and say to the kid and be like, "Look, if you stay here and show me around a little bit more after I come back up, I will pay you for your time. Or if you want to work on that basket, I'd be more than happy to buy one."
He nods and sits down and starts contentedly making a basket.
Is this a human child, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he just sits and starts making a basket. You descend down the stairs. At the bottom of the stairs again, there just seems to be crates and barrels, nothing that interesting. Though in one basket you do find a like hammer and chisel that looks like they were made like properly old woodworking tools.
Okay, and all of this stuff also has dust on it?
Yeah, all of the stuff is relatively dusty, but it's like cellar dust rather than normal dust, if you know what I mean.
Okay, I'm gonna like kind of look around, see if I can notice any patterns in the dust, if there's any places that doesn't seem to be quite as heavily dusted or anything like that. Also kind of checking more walls, imitating kind of what the kid did where he poked the wall to get this to open to see if there might be any hidden doors.
Okay. Roll, see what happens.
10.
Okay, you don't seem to find anything poking around. You do find a slightly mouldy looking bed that does seem to look like it's been slept in recently, but from the sort of size of the movements and stuff, it looks like if the only person stayed here might have just been the kid. Okay.
Then content, I will walk back upstairs.
So when you get back upstairs, the kid has about half finished your basket and is contentedly like sort of sliding wood through the bones of the basket.
Okay, I'm gonna go and just kind of like squat down next to him and just kind of like, "So, what was your name, child?"
"Oh, I'm Tim."
"Tim? Well, very fine name. Do you happen to know if there's extra rooms or anything like that in this place? Kind of like a hidden room like that basement was?"
Oh, he seems sort of think for a minute and he goes, No, there was only the storeroom, and he sort of does a sort of down gesture, as in like towards the basement.
Right, and where did your dad did he keep receipts or anything like that around here?
Oh, he sort of you see him think for a minute, and then he sort of gets up, walks to another sort of wall, and just sort of pushes the wall, and a door just swings open, and inside is a very small office that looks again like it's been deserted, and goes, "Oh, no, there's nothing left here either."
How long ago was it that your dad left to go up north?
He left about a year ago. And he is coming back. Whatever Mummy says, he is coming back.
And then, just out of character, because I'm forgetting, did we get a time frame for when Dorian left?
Dorian left about just shy of a year ago.
Okay.
And the first couple of letters were about 11 months ago, and then they ranged from 11 months to 5 months.
Okay. I'm going to go back into that office and kind of do the same sort of check, look around.
Again, just roll.
Natural 20.
Natural 20, okay. You sort of look around, and as the boy goes back to sitting working on the basket, you sort of kick one of the floor panels, and a sort of small hatch opens, and inside there's a safe.
Okay, I do have thieves' tools, so I'm going to first see if the safe is open, and if not, then...
Yeah, the safe seems to be locked, so roll your thieves' tools.
13.
Yep, you open the safe. Inside there's a bag of about 50 gold.
I'm going to pocket that.
Okay.
For the moment.
So you pocket that, you close the safe back over, and you close the hatch back over, and then you walk outside. The boy is contentedly finishing the basket.
All right. Once you're done there, why don't you take me to where your mom is so I can have a chat with her, if that's all right.
Oh, I'm not allowed in the inn because children are allowed in, and Mummy doesn't like it when the men see me.
Ah, okay. I can find my... I'll just go...
She wears the red dress so you can see her.
Right.
And sometimes her breath smells very strange, but it's not a bad thing. It's because of her diet.
What was the last bit?
It's because of her diet.
Okay. Jesus. All right. Well, Tim, how much longer is that basket?
He seems to put the last sort of finishing touches to it, and he holds it up to you. It's about maybe a 8-inch diameter basket. Looks quite well made.
Okay. I'm going to pull out 10 gold of the 50 that I found, and I'm going to hand him 4 of it up front and be like, so this is for the basket that you gave me. So when you make these for people, do you give this money to your mom?
He nods and said, I'm not allowed to accept anything other than gold anymore because I took beans once, and beans, no more beans, no.
All right, well, here's another 6 that I want you to keep just for you. You can go and spend it on whatever you want.
Oh, and he looks quite happy with that.
So I appreciate the basket, and I'll be sure to thank your mother when I go and have a chat with her.
Okay. So,
and then I will head up towards the inn.
So I'll just have you coming back in the inn at this point. So you return to the inn, and the inn is yourself and... It was Chris, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Chris is still at the bar when you walk in, and the girl in the red dress is still standing at the bar, like, kind of hunched over, looking very dazed, still downing ale.
Alright, I'm gonna go and sit next to her.
Okay. So you take a seat next to her, and she turns to look at you and goes, Hi, and do a perception check.
7.
Okay, you also just think that she's just in a world of her own. She goes, 10 gold for 10 minutes, and she grins, and she's missing one of her front teeth.
Are you Tim's mom?
Immediately her smile drops, and she goes, Yes? Why? What's happened to him?
Nothing's happened to him. He made me a very fine basket, and he told me that you work here, and so I was trying to find out some information.
She nods and goes, Oh, okay, good. Did you pay him in gold?
Of course I did.
Good. And she you hear her sort of swear under about something about beans.
Well,
So, what do you want to know? I mean, we can go and discuss this in private. And she, again, sort of awkwardly smiles.
Well, I mean, that's not why I'm here. But I'm more than happy. If you give me information that I'm looking for, I am more than happy to compensate you for it.
She sort of slowly nods and goes, Okay, so what are you after?
Listen, dear, are you all right? You, sound a little off.
It's fine. It's just a little more rough, and I'm used to it. It's fine.
A little more... Somebody beating you?
She sort of looks at you and actually do another perception check now. She's just looking straight at you.
16.
You notice her pupils are different sizes. She's completely concussed.
Who was it that did this to you, ma'am? Do you know?
She goes, oh, it's nothing. It's just Daniel. He's just rough. It's fine.
All right, well, you should not fall asleep for a little while. And then I'm going to hand her, 5 gold.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, I'm going to go have a little chat with this Daniel fellow. Do you know where he is? Where he would be right now?
She's fishing, usually.
All right, thank you very much. And I'm going to look over at Chris and be like, watch her. She seems to have a bit of a concussion. Or you can come and help me have a little chat with this Daniel fellow if you want.
I think at that point, Chris would just, all right, I'll stand up and there's plenty of people to watch her here. I'll come with you. Probably just tell the barmaid to keep an eye on her.
And then, yeah, I'm going to head to the lake, apparently.
Okay, so you guys head out to the lake. At this point, you meet up with Render and Squashy.
Krista is back now.
Oh, right, okay. And Cricket can just join you there then.
Oh, hi, I'm coming too.
So you all return to the lake, and when you return, you notice that Render still has this rather strange man looking at her up and down a lot.
I have a distinct feeling that you would be Daniel.
He turns round and looks at you and says, "Who's asking?"
Well, I am. The name's Kyron.
Good for you. And he just goes back staring at Render.
You alright there, Daniel?
He turns around and he looks at you again, quite eyebrows sort of half raised kind of thing. And as he does this, the two guys who were with him earlier go, Daniel, is there something going on here?
Excuse me, gentlemen, is this Daniel man a friend of you?
Well, we work with him.
Is he, short of temper?
Yeah, usually he's the one that yells at things, and Daniel turns around, snaps at them, and sort of yells something at them, and the two of the men sort of I'll stop talking. Then he just turns back to you and says, I'm not interested in what you've got to say. I'm afraid I'm trying to talk to this lady here.
I have a distinct feeling she doesn't have any interest in what you'll have to say to her. So, I advise you talk to me with a little bit of respect before I take this spear and shove it up your asshole.
I think you'll find I've already given the lady a drink. I think you'll find I'm entitled to talk to her.
I don't think entitled is the right word, but we were just having a very interesting conversation about the lake, and I'm going to skirt closer to Chris and the gentleman. What is your name? Kyron?
Kyron.
Okay, yes, to both of them.
Cricket wants to stand closer to Render as well and just puff out his chest and try to be very tall, even though he's very small. He's human.
The two men that were earlier sort of seem to sort of get a hint and sort of start backing away, whereas Daniel sort of just comes to look at her and goes, "What's your problem? Can we not just get along?"
I don't think we're the ones having the issues with getting along with people. Daniel, how long have you lived here?
He again sort of raises one eyebrow at you and goes, "Does that really matter?"
Yeah, a little bit.
A couple of months, why?
I'm just trying to decide if anybody would really miss you if you were to disappear.
He walks forward and gets right in your face and says, "You threatening me?"
So, I got a quick question. I'm kind of the magician class, but I don't know how it would work to intimidate him with a little fiery hand magic. Is that a thing?
Yep. Use your int to do that.
Okay. It's gonna be a 12.
He seems to be notably bothered by it, but he's kind of he's not back down, but you did notice that he seemed to flicker a bit when you did it.
Alright. I don't know if you've ever seen magic before, but these magical flames tend to burn a little hotter than a normal one. I'm just trying to lie as much as I can right now, just to get him back up and kind of dance the flames from hand to hand.
He seems to be obsessed with following the flame now. He doesn't look at you, he's just watching this fire as it's flowing through your hands.
So, I'm just trying to decide here how to handle this situation, because you seem to have an attitude about you, and we just wanted to talk.
He just turns to face you again, and let's see what he does. He just swings and cracks you in the face.
Alright!
So you fall to the ground, your nose has been burst wide open, and it's like blood is pooling all over your face. And it goes, "Don't fuck with me. I'm a big thing in this town."
I think at that point, Kyron just pulls out his spear and points it, like, shoves it up the tip next to his dick.
Yeah, roll.
Like, I'm not stabbing him, it's just right there.
Roll to see what happens.
Oh, that would be a 25.
Yep, basically you pull your spear right up, it slices through any sort of outside clothing and it seems to be pointing right against skin. Daniel immediately sort of looks down and goes, "What's that for?"
Well, I happened to see what you did to the lady working at the inn, and you just punched a compatriot of mine, something I don't take kindly to. So, we have 2 ways that we can go about this. You can back the fuck up, get your shit together and stop abusing women, or I can make sure that that little tiny thing between your legs isn't gonna work again.
You see his hand slowly sliding behind his back.
I'm thrusting forward.
Okay, roll.
18.
So you react first, you basically like stab forward, you stab him in the groin, he collapses down to one leg, howls in pain, and blood begins to pour everywhere.
I think at this point, I'm just gonna pull this spear back and he's like on his knees.
Yep.
I'm just gonna drive it down through his neck and pin him to the ground.
Okay. And roll one more time to see how you get on.
An 11.
And let's see what he gets. Yeah, you just basically like draw, and you notice that he seems to have gone for an axe that he had behind his back, but he didn't react as fast as you did, and you just like spear him to the ground. So he's now sort of quivering a bit, and then he just sort of, you just hear him sort of go, "Fuck you," as he just stops moving.
I'm just not gonna say anything for a moment, wait until he stops moving, put a foot on his back, and then just pull the spear out.
Yep, so you pull the spear out, he's lying dead. The 2 men who he was with are just sort of watching on, going, "Fuck."
Either of you got a problem with what just happened?
They just look at you and just shake their heads, like, no, we're fine with it, no.
No, you should have seen what they did to the fish. It was about the same.
I'm gonna just walk over to the river and clean my spear off.
Cricket dry heaves a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the river and wash my face.
Okay.
Squashy is still fishing a distance away.
He's having a happy day, he's not noticed anything wrong yet. But yeah, you kill him, he's totally dead now. Are you wanting to loot him at all? Or you want to do him with the body? What do you want to do?
I definitely want to loot him for more bottles.
You go through his possessions, he's got about 30 gold, he's got a hand axe, and he's got a sort of small bag of tobacco.
He doesn't have any bottles?
He seemed to have 1 bottle of very cheap booze, but he's given you that already.
Well, this dead man can't offer me any more. I'm gonna just begin calmly putting the different gold into 5 separate piles, and I'm gonna allot that to each of us.
Okay. So you each gain 6 gold. So at this point you hear the sound of a handbell in town, and you hear this sort of very faint cry of, "Carriage dies in port, leaving soon."
Well,
That's us, right?
fortunately, I didn't get a whole lot of information here, but it was fun.
Yeah, there's not much to this town. I'm ready to leave.
I just need to swing by the inn real quick on my way out.
Okay.
Was Squashy able to fish up anything good?
He took up 1 fish, but it looks kind of weird to him. He's looking at it, looking like sort of spinning it around in his hand, going, "This doesn't look how normal fish look." And he's very confused by it. Does he have nature? Yeah, roll a nature check on it.
Is it Blinky?
9.
The fish just seems to be slightly ill. From just looking at it, you wouldn't normally eat it.
I'm gonna release it back into the river, or the lake.
You put it back into the lake, it seems to sort of like just sit in the water and just not move, and just blink at you from just underwater.
Weird.
So, stopping by the inn on the way back, what do you want to do?
I'm just gonna go up to... I actually technically never got her name, but I believe it was Tabitha?
Yes.
And I'm just gonna like hand her the remaining 40 gold that I got from her husband and say, "Now, this should cover you for a while, but Daniel's not going to be returning.
She takes the bag off you, looks at it, looks very confused, and looks at you and says, "Why? Has he been taken to Eisenport?"
That's not the place that I would say he's been taken to, but sure.
She just sort of nods and goes, Okay, thank you.
Take care of your kid. He's a good boy.
She again nods as you walk out of the inn and back to the cart. So, you all bundle onto the cart, and you leave Missenden, and eventually, after the cart's driven for about maybe 3-4 hours, you come over a bridge to this lakeside town with its very strange sign on the way called Bishop Under Puddle. As you pull into this town, there's a plinth in the middle of the town square with a crutch on the top of it. There's an inn, and there's a medium, decently looking temple as well, and then again there's quite a lot of kind of hovel looking houses, and there's the lake right around the edge, but it's about 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I think it's probably safe to call the trip for the day. Probably get some rest at the inn. What do you all say?
I think that's a good idea. We should go in there and have a little chat, see if anybody discovered anything that might be useful.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
Does Cricket recognize the temple at all? I've got a 1 in religion.
Do me a roll first, I'll tell you what.
Okay. 17?
You don't recognise the temple as a religion that you recognise, but you recognise the name on the plinth. The name is St. Randolph. You vaguely remember from the city you were in before, that you started in, that St. Randolph was a sort of joke between certain people. It's for people who are very large and fat and can't really move very well. You don't know what the link is, but you do remember hearing that it's a sort of running gag that, you refer to as St. Randolph when they're enormous and basically quite rotund and fat and not very movable.
Okay. I'm gonna nudge Squashy, point to the plinth, and just laugh.
I don't get it.
It's fine. It's fine.
As you all disembark from the cart, the coach driver takes the horse and says he's taking him away to the stables and he'll be back in the morning. Hopefully the horse will be rested and you can head off relatively early. And as he does that, outside the inn there are 2 or 3 relatively attractive looking women who immediately look over and make eyeball contact with Siren and Squashy, Cricket and Chris as well, and they walk over and there's 2 of them "Hi there, if you're interested in some company tonight, I'd be more than happy to do it." And they start stroking your face or running their arms around you and stuff and just basically just hitting on you. What do you do?
Are these humans?
Yes.
I'm gonna brush off their hands. No, that tickles. Excuse me. No, thanks. Just push them away gently. Cricket will.
So Cricket sort of pushes them away. The rest although they find you adorable, they sort of are kind of trying to hit on all 4 of you at the same time, though they are pretty much ignoring Render at the moment.
Now's not the time, ladies. We need to go in and have a little bit of a conversation here, but if you're around later, I might be back. I'm just
we'll be around all night, and they sort of playfully run their hands along the edge of your hairline kind of thing and be just find us, we'll be in the inn.
Alright.
Squash is just full on blushing. Just frozen in place, beet red face, and not moving.
So company for the night, is that a book club or something? Because I don't know what other kind of company I'd get. Have a great day. And I'm gonna grab as many of the boys in my group as I can and walk away.
One of them yells after, "We can read them stories if they pay us enough."
Cricket starts walking back.
I just grab Cricket by the back of the...
bye.
Given your reaction to what happened earlier, I don't think you want those kind of stories, Cricket.
Oh, okay.
So you walk into the inn. The inn is relatively full, but you still have enough spaces for you to find somewhere. It's about 70-30 female to male, and the barmaid just sort of walks over and says, "Would you want a drink?"
Yeah, can I get a few ales for everybody here?
I prefer wine if you have it.
She nods and returns with a couple of ales and a bottle of wine.
You got anything to eat as well?
She tells you she's got some stew and comes back 5 minutes later with these bowls of very rough stew. It's some sort of meat. You don't know what kind of meat, but it's probably better not to ask. and vegetables.
Thank you very much.
I just tuck into the stew indiscriminately, just shovel it all in my mouth.
Kyron, you gonna share that bottle?
Yeah.
So, anyways, guys, do y'all find anything interesting in the last town besides Daniel?
Who's Daniel?
Oh, he's a piece of shit that I straight up. But glossing over that, I was exploring the abandoned trade building and found an interesting spoon. And I will pull it out and set it on the table. Just a second so I can turn and show these guys what it looks like.
Ooh,
That is
fancy.
very interesting.
Do any of you happen to recognize the pattern of this spoon? It looks like a symbol at the top that isn't familiar to me.
Here, let me see that.
I'll just pass the spoon around the table.
Squash is gonna take a look at it. Natural 20.
Natural 20. You know this is a handcrafted love spoon, and it tends to be something given to either newlyweds or those that got engaged, and it seems to be like a single piece of wood that's been handcrafted.
This is a love token.
Interesting. It was just sitting on the floor of the abandoned trades building, so it may belong to the husband of Tabitha, the woman working at the inn that left a while ago. Or it could have been somebody else's. It seemed interesting, so why I took it. Anybody get anything else that might be of value to our search, as it were?
Yeah, most people don't like it when you say Eisen.
Or Isengard.
I didn't see any guard.
So the fish in the lake blinked. Never seen a fish blink.
True. Yeah, those fish were awful suspicious.
Suspicious?
Suspicious. Do I need to pronounce it better?
Nah, I think we
Fish.
get what you said.
Sorry, that's just being
You know, it
clever.
took like 6 or 7 times you saying that to actually realise what you were doing with it, but yeah.
I realized it didn't land because nobody was laughing. And but yeah, I know those blinking fish. And I got a sample of the water, and I
Gross.
think it might be the water. I think that's why all those backwards inbred hillbilly people are all kind of sluggish and dim-witted.
Let me see that bottle of water you got there.
Hand it over.
I'm gonna take a sip of it. I'm not gonna swallow it, but I'm just gonna put a little bit of it in my mouth and then spit it out.
Okay, roll.
7.
You put it in your mouth and immediately you start retching. You sort of spit the water onto the floor and you immediately feel very sick.
I'm gonna start drinking my wine. That tastes out.
Okay.
That is the most disgusting bit of water I have ever experienced.
Well, is it disgusting water, or is it that you haven't consumed any liquid other than wine for years?
You know, I'm not sure.
Can Cricket take the bottle of water and sniff it?
Yep.
Does it seem poisoned?
It just seems like really rancid river water, or lake water in this case.
Okay, I dry heave and put it back on the table.
Cricket, that is the second time that I have seen you lose your stomach. Are you sure you're gonna be up for a task such as this? What do you do exactly?
Oh, well, now I'm full. So sometimes I get a little woozy if I don't eat. But I'm fine now, but that smells really bad. Like, really bad.
Have you ever killed a person before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely dead. Murder by death.
All right, so when the fighting inevitably starts, I do not want you near me. I don't want you watching my back.
Oh, you won't be able to see me when the fighting starts. Don't worry about it.
Long gone.
Okay, that's reassuring, actually.
Cricket just sits back and tries to tip back on his chair, all cool, arms folded over his chest.
Roll to see how your sort of style goes. Just natural roll.
A style roll, I love it. 11.
Oh.
Yep, you sort of manage to hover in the air with your arms folded, quite content in your chair. You don't fall too far back or anything. You seem just about being able to keep it up.
Wonderful. I just maintain that as long as possible.
So, are any of you here familiar with the arcane arts, or might be able to see if this water has some sort of curse on it, or if this is just naturally occurring awful water? Like, that seems strange to me.
I mean, I could take a look at it, but as far as I can see, it's just like water. I'll grab the bottle and just try to inspect it for any kind of magical properties.
Yep, you're probably looking at either Arcana or Nature rolls.
Arcana would be 13.
When you look at it, it doesn't seem magically problematic, but there does seem to be... It's like the sort of... whatever sort of infection is there has a sort of magical hint to it, but you can't really get much from it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's too much. Maybe some kind of magical residue, but nothing really.
So perhaps like the source of this lake might be corrupt?
I have no clue.
All right, well, seems we have a mystery. Did anybody get anything else of value? So the fish are weird, the water's rancid, the town's lost their minds.
Oh, yeah, the barmaid said something about guys always going up to Eisenport and then leaving their families.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, I went into the general store and found a child followed me in, named with Tim. He was the daughter of the night worker at the inn.
Tabitha?
I guess I never actually got her name.
Guess she did not seem okay.
She was concussed by Daniel.
That makes a lot more sense now.
Tim mentioned that his dad left a while ago to Eisenport, so roughly the same time Dorian left, stopped communicating, or no, when he left, sorry. So,
So
seems
you
it might
think
be.
something is after the men of the area? It seems that once we get closer to Eisenport, there are less the male variety.
Was noticing the same thing.
You know, boys, I'm a little worried about you guys, because it seems like I'm gonna be the only one that can keep my wits about me when we get there.
Well, if we start acting crazy chasing what is between the woman's skirts, why don't you smack some sense into us?
I was hoping you would say stab, but I can do that too.
I would really prefer not to be stabbed if I don't need to be.
Yes, well, if you're crazy, there might be nothing else I can do. I also got this rusty sword. And is there anything to be gained from this rusty sword?
You're looking at the sword, it seems to just be a relatively generic sword that's been thrown into the lake.
Yes.
Where was that?
I fished it. It was my big catch of the day. The most responsive thing in the lake, too.
Can I see if it's been used at all? Like signs of having cuts or anything like that on it?
Yeah.
8.
You look across the blade, from very finely looking along it, you do see one or two tiny specks of red.
Well, it seems that this has been used in some fashion. Seems to be relatively well made, I guess. Sword into a lake seems a little odd. But other than that, I can't really say.
I mean,
Much.
sword from a lake, maybe it's Excalibur?
I punch him. No, I don't.
You just stab him in the crotch.
Yeah.
Good.
That's my go-to move, thanks.
In real life, too.
You can't prove that.
I think at this point, we should probably get some sleep. Been a long day.
Not a bad idea.
You finish eating, and you say
Yeah.
to the barmaid that you want to get a couple of rooms. She asks if you want rooms with company or rooms without.
Aren't we in a company together? Or like
Yeah.
us company?
I think we want bunk beds.
She sort of looks at the two of you and sort of goes, I think I mean the more cuddly variety, if you know what I mean. And she sort of gestures to the two girls standing by the door who sort of wave at you.
I don't think they understand. Can you just get them a room so they can just sleep in it? They won't need the comforts of, cuddly.
We can cuddle.
So
I would like a comforter. I get cold.
Oh boy.
So she tells you there's rooms that will take 2 people, and there's rooms on their own with company, and she gestures to the sort of people by the door. What do you want?
Squashy, being beat red again, is just going to be asking for a single room. I just like by myself, please.
She sort of goes, oh, doesn't a smaller gentleman like you just want some cuddles?
I single room, please.
I mean, Cassandra over there, she's very cuddly, and she'll read you a bedtime story.
No bedtime. No, just single room.
All right. And she gives you a key to single room.
I'm gonna take that key and just go upstairs.
Oh. Okay, so what are the rest of you doing?
If I were to pay for some company for my embarrassed friend. Would they be willing to meet him?
Well, if you want to pay for company for him, then it's more than appreciated, and he will be treated to the finest things in life.
I think he would appreciate a bedtime story, and I'm gonna send Cassandra up after him.
Okay, so she takes 5 gold off you, and she whistles, and Cassandra walks over, and she tells her what room, and you just watch her go up the stairs, and then you hear, a couple of seconds later, you hear a frightened yelp. So, while that's going on, what are the rest of you doing?
Yelling after her, don't be afraid to not be too gentle.
He's sturdy.
Okay. So are the rest of you just getting normal rooms then?
Yeah, what time is it in the
Like 9-ish.
It's like about 10ish, I'd say by now, for if you convert normal time into what time's there.
Have we passed any like water sources? I just would want to get another sample of it.
There's a lake outside.
If it's like easily, I don't
You
know.
can walk out to the lake easily enough, yeah? It's just pretty much just outside the inn and round the side.
All right, and then I'll buy a bottle and I'll get a sample and then just come back to, I don't know,
Okay, so roll to get a sample.
sample getting abilities. That's a 10.
You walk back into the inn and you go, I got this sample! And as you see it in proper light, not only is the sample itself like muddy and murky and horrible looking, but you also notice that the hand you used to put in the water to get it is covered in this like browny black film.
Yeah, I'm gonna need
I'm gonna.
bath and an exorcism.
I don't think you're gonna take a bath here.
Oh, dang it.
I'll just go over bits of my wine on her hand and like wipe it
Pouring
down.
wine over, yeah, that's the most cleanly thing you can do.
And probably cleanlier than the water here.
As the yelps continue to come from above.
This is the background noise. Krista's crying baby in the background is actually Squashy.
It's his bedtime, okay?
Squashies too.
So, are the rest of you just getting rooms for the night, or are you doing anything else before you sleep?
I think Christopher Blaine is going to get a room, but go explore the city a little bit at night, see what's around.
Okay. Well, the only thing about in this sort of town is temple, really. Everything else is just really the lake and the inn, and then there's a couple of houses, but...
Yeah, I'll probably go to the temple.
Okay, so is anyone else going to the temple with you, or is it just you going on your own?
I think if he says something, I would go with.
I'm gonna take a walk for a little bit. I'm not that tired yet.
Do you want to be alone, or do you want to...
That's fine, you can come if you want. I think I might visit the temple over there.
Krista, what's your character's name again?
Cricket.
Cricket, you seem to know something about that. Why don't you come with us?
Okay, I can do that. Just give me a minute, I'll follow you. I'll meet you there.
So, as the continued yelping seems to get more frenzied as you leave, you make your way to the temple.
I would like to stealth ahead as fast as possible, and I want to beat them there and like jump out and scare them when they get to the doors of the temple. Just from the shadows. Boo!
So yeah, you leap out from the shadows, the rest of them all go, fucking hell! Just by the way.
Double finger gun. Gotcha! And then just be super serious right after that.
So you get to the top of the stairs of the temple and you look into the main room itself. The temple is mostly stone floor, and it's got a couple of pews on the other side, and in the middle there's what looks like an elderly man praying, and in front of him there seems to be this, it's either a very large dwarf statue or a very, very, very fat man in a very wide brimmed hat.
You
So, what
guys
do you
ever something like that before?
Familiar with.
Yeah, it's St. Randolph.
St. Randolph?
A very fat man. Didn't see the crutch on the plinth?
Looks
Way
like
in?
it. No, I didn't.
Alright.
I think I'd approach the older man. Just, hey there, friend, what you doing?
So he turns around and goes, oh, welcome, friends. Welcome to the Church of St. Randolph. How are you doing today? Have you come on your noble pilgrimage to this wonderful land?
Yeah, you could say it's noble. Who's St. Randolph?
Oh, St. Randolph. He gestures to the statue and he goes, he's a wonderful man. He was one that promoted a
plenty amongst his followers, and we should all share our food and all eat together and enjoy our company.
So, how many followers?
Oh, he has some. I was going to give you a number, but there hasn't been that many recently, I suppose.
Okay, so, you a priest of his?
Oh, yes. I've been a priest of St. Randolph since I was a young man. I came and I met him here in Bishop Under Puddle before he left to his final pilgrimage upon the mountain.
Which mountain might that be?
Oh, that's the mountain to the south. I mean, if you look out that window there, you can see the mountain in the distance. St. Randolph, he aimed to climb the mountain. His final words to any of us followers here was, "Fetch me my lunch, I'm going to prove the bastard wrong," and it's just a wonderful final line. We don't actually know who he was referring to, but we assume it must have been someone very important.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense now. You really like this St. Randolph guy. I'm just gonna keep
Well,
trying to...
I'm a priest of St. Randolph, so yes, I'm quite a fan of his work, and despite his untimely death from starvation on the side of the mountain from eating all his supplies too early, the man was a very beautiful, legendary man who spread the joy of sharing with friends and good company.
So, we might be considered good company. What can you share with us?
Well, have you brought any food with you for us to share, brother?
Unfortunately, do not have any food with me, but I might be able to get some.
Oh, great. I mean, St. Randolph was always the belief that every bit of food should be shared amongst all of us.
Alright, I'm gonna head back to the bowl of stew, and then come back with it.
Okay. So you bring the bowl of stew and you sit down.
He goes, "Oh, wonderful friend. I have some porridge. Give me a second."
And he walks to the side room and he comes back with a small bowl of porridge and he sits it down and he goes,
"Shall we eat together, brother? Shall we enjoy this food?"
Yeah, I can do that. Might you be able to answer a few questions for me, too?
Of course, dear brother, of course. What would you like to know?
We're mostly passing through and a little confused about why there are so few men here.
Oh, the number of men has been less and less over the past few years, but, I guess the pilgrimage has taken its toll as well, but, they will come back. It's hopefully just a time of year.
St. Randolph's pilgrimage? Which one are we talking here?
Well, you come into the Eisenport in the north, and then you come all the way down, and you walk to Bishop Under Puddle, which is where we are now, like St. Randolph did. Apart from the point where he got on a cart, but we pretend that he walked here and we celebrate his walking here. And then we journey to the mountain in the south, where we rise up the mountain and reach the top, and there's a plinth of St. Randolph that it took us 5 months to get the plinth up there, which is a lot longer than anything I did write to, but it's actual size, you see, and made of the finest stone.
Well, I write this. So is there, I guess, you mentioned Eisenport. What do you do in Eisenport?
Oh, I haven't been to Eisenport since I was a young man, but apparently the pilgrimage should start in Eisenport like St. Randolph did, and then, you walk down to Bishop Under Puddle, which should take you 3 days, and unless you're St. Randolph who've got in a cart. It's a very beautiful pilgrimage, and it teaches you to appreciate a feast with friends when you arrive.
Have you ever met a man named Dorian?
Dorian Dawnwhisper?
I can't say his name rang a bell. Did he do the pilgrimage of St. Randolph?
Possibly. He kind of looked a little like me, the fair looks, pointy ears, elfin.
Well, my friend, we haven't had any elves here for a long time, but if they did do the pilgrimage, then I would have spoke to them, but I don't remember such man.
Alright, that's all. Thank you for the generous meal.
Don't be modest, my dear friend. You brought some yourself, and you assisted in the feast of St. Randolph that we had this evening.
I think at that, I'm probably just gonna get up and head back to the inn.
I'm also
If you guys are
follow.
gonna do...
Good night, sir. Cricket will walk out.
Good night, my child. Have a good night's rest.
And then I'll just go to the inn and get some sleep.
Okay. The next morning you all wake up, and can Squashy roll me a d20, please?
Roll high.
Oh boy.
Squashy has a slight itching sensation in his lower half from the morning after. She seems quite embarrassed about.
I'm just gonna go straight down the stairs, out the door, just in the cart. Just like, sit down, arms folded, looking down, scratching.
I'm gonna go slip whatever her name was an extra 3 gold.
Cassandra.
Cricket's gonna buy breakfast and then shove any sort of like bread into his cloak pockets as he goes.
So you come down, most of you have some kind of breakfast apart from Squashy, who's quite upset and sitting in the cart waiting to go. So, yeah, you basically eat the new og on the cart. You wanting to do anything else before you leave?
No, I don't think so.
Render,
Yeah?
how's the hand? How's the water?
That's
Did you get a
good
sample?
question. How is my hand?
Your hand is still slightly got like black and brown specks all over it because you haven't been able to scrub the whole thing off, but it seems fine apart from that.
But it's just like dirty. It's not.
Yeah. You look at the bottle of water, the bottle of water seems disgusting, and as you look out into the water itself, the water also seems like this black and brown film across the edge of the water, and the fish again seem very sluggish and unresponsive.
Just from sitting in like the tavern and going through the city, have we noticed anybody acting the same way that last town did? Kind of weird.
The only thing you really notice is that although there are less men here, the ones that are here are very much like they're there with their wives. They're not there on their own. There's no groups of men on their own in this city compared to the last one.
Oh, before we leave, I want to see if it's possible from the inn to go and buy like a cooking pot.
The inn looks at you quite confused, but we'll sell you one if you want it.
Why, yes, how much?
How big a one do you want?
Just a small, like personal, like a 6 inch.
They'll sell you for about 3 gold.
Okay, I will buy that.
Okay.
And then as we kind of get into the cart, I'm going to look to Render and Render, can you do me a favor and pour that water into this pot here? And Chris, can you boil it for me? I want to see if boiling this water will even purify it.
I mean, yeah, I can. I don't know what you really want me to just like stick the flame in it. That doesn't work.
Keep some heat under the pot till the water boils.
You know.
Are you doing this on the cart on the road?
Yeah, that's what I'm. Okay, I don't want to light every fire, but try.
Okay.
I mean, can you not roll your flames?
Let's have a random event roll. One of you gets boiling hot pond water poured over them.
That'd probably
Which
be
one?
I'll take it.
Let's just do. It's all over Squashy, who already is
Son of
having
a
a bad day.
That's gonna itch.
So Squashy's just been like hit with a wave of boiling hot, like rancid pond water as the cart went over a bump.
Cricket
Squashy?
jumps out of the cart and starts walking. The smell is terrible.
Squashy, this is very important. Are you having any kind of changes to your mentality other than blinding rage? Any kind of like blurring of your senses? Do you feel yourself becoming less intelligent? We need to document this.
I'm sorry for the accident.
What was that for? I'm just trying to like take myself off.
Well, it was purely an accident. Actually, I was trying to see if boiling this water would purify it, and it doesn't seem to have. So I apologize.
I'm dicky.
Yeah, good luck. Doesn't come off.
Dude, Squashy has like black and brown stripes across his face now.
War paint.
Just kind of like war paint, yeah. But it smells quite bad.
I'm gonna do my best to like try and clean Squashy's face because I legitimately feel that.
The image of you like spitting on a cloth and trying to rub him. So the cart rumbles on with you desperately trying to clean Squashy as it goes on. You eventually come over a hill and immediately the stench of rotting fish hits the cart. You look out the window of the cart and you seem to be pulling into this small town. You notice that the carriage driver seems to have pulled like a cloth over his face. And you
Cricket does
ask,
the same.
and you sort of go, "What the fuck's going on?" And he replies with, "It's Limestock Bay. Don't worry, we're only going to be here like an hour. I just need to feed Flash."
Can we make it shorter than an hour?
Well, Flash needs to eat and he can't run on a full stomach. He gets, let's just say he gets the runs.
So he can't run, but he gets the runs.
Well, do you want to be sprayed by a horse?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Let's just hurry.
So as you pull into this very small, very obvious, quite run-down town, there's an inn, looks like a fish market, and all you hear as you get close is, "Fish! I'm
I'm selling fish!
Yeah.
As you pull into the town, you hear the fish cry and you see there's like a gallows at the back, and there seems to be a body hanging from the gallows, and the arm has been like pinned to point towards the road that leads north, and above the gallows says, "We don't abandon our gods." As you pull in and get out the cart, immediately a couple of these women, like, they look like middle-aged, like quite blotchy, red-faced, very pale skin, like crooked teeth, the whole shebang, very thick black robes, sort of run over to you and go,
I've got fish. You want fresh fish, the freshest fish, buy my fish.
and they gesture these fish towards you. These fish have like bulging eyes, they've got white round the gills, they've got spots all over them, they look sick, they look ill. There's like a sort of greenish goo dripping from their mouth. They just look very, very sick.
She's like, only a gold. My fish is the best fish in town. You want to buy fish, buy my fish.
I will give you 1 gold to go away and leave me alone forever.
I'll take that then.
I hand her a gold and chew
You
her
hand her a
away.
gold and she sort of pockets it and starts walking away, and as she does that you hear from the back of the sort of fish stall,
What? They bought her fish? Her fish are horrible. Mine are far better. You want to buy mine instead?
and they just, this like rush of like 8 or 9 women just running towards you, waving everything from these sickest looking fish to like eels and toads and stuff, other creatures. They're just trying to sell you that they look so ill, and they're just waving in your face saying,
You want to buy this? This is really good. Buy this.
I'm just gonna shout like as loud as possible. I do not want any fish. Leave me alone.
Wait, Chiron, are you sure? Because that's like a really good deal. It's only a gold, and you can learn to like something for that good of a deal.
Squashy's gonna jump into the back of the cart and hide.
I think I'm gonna slip past all everybody and go to the gallows.
Sorry, I only eat fish on Fridays, and I'm gonna shuffle to the gallows through the crones.
okay. Some of you push past. The women seem to sort of still be obsessed with Siren because Siren gave money away before, including the one that's like,
You want an eel? Eels are tasty. Look at them. It is so tasty. I got this today. I caught it. You want it now, don't you?
I'm just gonna like pull out 3 gold out of my bag and just throw it into the crowd and let them fight over.
okay. As you do that, basically a riot starts between all the women just charging in trying to fight over this gold.
Nailed it.
So yes, you've started a small riot, but you are being left alone, so that's something. So, what do you want to do?
Are there any holy symbols around the gallows? Into the sign? Any mention of these gods they don't abandon?
No, there just seems to be like a very crude sign above the gallows saying, "We don't abandon our gods."
Is there like a main building, an inn, or...
There's
Yes.
an inn. There's an inn to the side, and there's just this fish market, and then there's just the sort of hovels as well.
I think I'll head to the inn.
Okay. As you
There's
head towards the inn, as you're just about to walk into the inn, there's this girl. She looks very on the sort of like lower end of the attractive scale, shall we say. She stands up and goes, "I'll do anything you want, only 2 gold." And she begins to sort of unbutton her top, and she's got these very like pussy red sores under her top. They're
Yeah,
more
I-
obvious the more she starts to reveal.
It's okay. Just it's okay. I'm just here for a drink. Maybe my short friend back there at the cart, he might like you, and I'll send her that way.
She grins. She's got 2 teeth in her head.
I'll slip by and just say, yeah, he's the short.
I can just feel the look you're getting, so it's great. So, what are the rest of you doing?
I'm looking around for like if there's any other buildings that look like a sign of law or like governorship or anything like that. Like I'm basically trying to figure out who hung this person. Like if there's like a police force or anything like that
No,
around.
doesn't seem to be. Seems to just really be the inn and the fish market. Well, the fish market has currently got a riot outside of people beating each other over the head with fish.
I guess yeah, I'll just head to the inn then.
Can Cricket examine the hanging body? Does it look like his death was from hanging or
Roll perception.
11?
You get the feeling this is obviously female. She seems to be wearing some kind of like longish dress. It seems that she's been hanging here for a long time because what sort of skin remains on the body seems to have been like significantly pecked away by animals or stuff, but she definitely seems to have been killed by hanging.
Okay. I will just take another look around the gallows and then to the inn.
Okay. We cut to the inn, and immediately the barmaid in the inn goes,
Who are you? If you want company, Denise is outside. She'll do anything you want for 2 gold.
Yeah, no, Denise is already occupied. We just kind of wanted a drink.
Oh, what do you want? We've got, fish gin.
Yeah, is there anything without the fish?
Oh, there's fish ale. It's only got a little fish in it.
Get.
This is a horrible, horrible place.
You guys, do you have anything without fish?
Oh, yes, we've got eel vodka.
she takes it down, she just slams it down. It's this very yellow-looking liquid with this, like, remains of an eel bobbing up and down inside it.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. Maybe you can help me with something else. The guy hanging out there, what's that about?
What guy?
The body in the gallows, that guy.
It's a woman.
Oh,
Chris.
Oh, her. Oh, she came down from up north and was like, I want you to build a canal. And we're like, fuck off, you've stolen our husbands, die.
Ma'am, your honesty is refreshing. Thank you.
Well, she came here with her hoity-toity attitude of, oh, if you just worship the gods in the north, they'll be nice to all you women. And we're like, you took all our husbands, you harlot.
Did
Okay.
you happen to get a name from her? And how long has she been there?
Not long enough, if you ask me.
All right. Well, that's kind of an answer to my question.
As you've been looking through the town, you have not met a single man so far.
So I'm assuming we're pretty close to Eisen.
She spits and says,
It's to the north, about 3 hours.
Ah, nice. Thank you. So, what kind of gods are they preaching about?
Some watery tart that lives beyond the sea.
And so, is this why the water's so nasty? I mean, maybe.
What's wrong with it? It does fine. I mean, look at this fish.
and she takes a fish out from behind the counter. It's just rancid. You can see it's rancid. And she goes,
It's lovely. Watch.
and she just takes a huge bite out of it, and it just, the stench is just completely repulsive.
Absolutely lovely.
Cricket heaves behind Chris.
How long have you been eating this fish?
I grew up eating fish.
That
I
makes
used
a
to
lot.
cook it for my husband all the time, and he went, that's a lovely bit of fish. And I went, yes, I caught it myself.
And did the men used to do much around here? It seems you guys are all pretty self-sufficient.
They used to work in the limestone mines.
The
Nowadays, we've just got the young girls working there, like Sydney there.
And she points over, and there's this girl, and she just seems to be like hunched over a table, like one of those like, what am I doing with my life? And as she turns to face you, from her back you would have thought she was about maybe 19, 20, but when she turns to face you, she looks like late 30s, 40s. Like if she has the sort of any kind of youth, it's been drained away from hard work.
She's a young one?
What do you mean, young one? She's only like 20. We keep asking her to work in the inn here to get more med in, but she says no.
All right,
Yeah.
well, she doesn't sound completely insane. So excuse me, and I'm gonna go over and sit down next to her.
Again, she just looks to you with this kind of like quiet acceptance look on her face of just like, hi there. Unlike the rest of the women you've met so far, she doesn't start hitting on you, but she is quite like, yeah, what do you want?
Well, sorry to bother you, ma'am. You look like you have a smarter head on your shoulder than a lot of the people here. And I'm kind of talking low so that I'm not being overheard by everyone. Just trying to make heads or tails of what's going on here. Do you happen to
She
have
sort of sighs and says, what do you want to know?
You ever met someone named Dorian?
She shrugs and says, I don't meet anyone, I usually work most of the time.
Why is it that you seem to be the only one?
Well, technically I'm having a day off. It's my first day off in about 2 years.
Good.
And it's mainly just because I hurt my back last week. And she sort of gestures and you look sort of at the side of her. She's got like her ribs taped up quite badly.
So, what happened?
Well, I was, in the mines carting away and my back just gave way.
You're literally the only one.
She says, no, there's lots of us that work the mines, but usually the hours are long and hard. Usually we do 14-hour days just working in the mines, and it's me and a lot of them. I mean, I've been working in the mines since I was 8.
What? Pardon my bluntness, but do you eat the fish around here?
She sort of gives you a look of, oh, for fuck's sake, and goes, I used to, then I decided that I couldn't spend that long, basically running to the hole in the ground as much as I was. So, no, we just started eating vegetables.
That makes a lot more sense to your coherency, as it would.
Yeah, I would advise you don't eat the fish. They can give you more than just the runs. They can give you lots and lots of sickness. And all you hear in the background going, my fish are fine! They don't make you sick all the time, only when you don't eat all the bits.
That's not how that works. So you seem to have a very good head on your shoulders.
Have you ever thought about, heading south and leaving this place?
She sort of sighs and says, I can't leave my mother. After my father left when I was young, I'm all she's got.
Have you thought about taking it with you?
We can't really afford it. We can barely afford it at the moment. I mean, I'm earning 3 gold a day working in the mine.
How much would it cost you to get out of here?
She sort of looks at him and shrugs and says, I think the most I've ever saved was 4 gold, and then I had to eat again.
So I don't know if it's gonna help, but I'm just gonna hand her a bag of about 60 gold.
Okay, she sort of looks at it and goes, what's this for?
Yeah, I don't really say need it. So I don't like this town, so you should probably leave too.
She basically just stands up. You see her like she was going to sort of rush to hug you, but she stands up and immediately her back kicks in and she sort of hunches back over, wincing quite badly.
I think I catch her. And can I do any kind of healing magic? Is that a thing?
Yes, you can do healing stuff.
25.
Yep. Then you manage to you don't manage to heal her back, but you manage to significantly reduce the swelling in her back, and she's able to sort of stand up a bit better.
Yeah, I just kind of.
So she hugs you and says thank you, and just grabs the bag and rushes out to try and find her mother.
Well, all right.
Has it been an hour yet? I don't like
At this point, you just hear the bell sounding, and then the barmaid leans over and says, "Do you want some fish for the journey?"
God, no. Thank the Lords that bell rang, and I get up and leave as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we just
you
head
just hear
out
in the
back.
background, I can do you a nice bourbon ale.
You need help, madam.
So you get back on the car and you head off as quickly as possible out of the town. And as you head off, you notice that once you get free of the town, the carriage driver takes his mask off and the smell of dead fish seems to subside a bit. But as you left, the riot was in full swing, and so you notice still one of your gold pieces is lying on the ground untouched.
I'm gonna leave that there.
But yeah, so this full riot's going on as you leave the town. So yeah, you travel along the road and eventually come up over another sort of hill around the edge of a mountain, and eventually the site of this port town comes into view, and it's a very beautiful little town. All the buildings are the masonry's fantastic, the architecture's wonderful, it's much cleaner, much more, not richer, but it looks much more higher standard than anywhere else you've been. And as you pull into the city, you notice there's this large elaborate temple. There's a jailhouse, there's a schoolhouse, there are 2 inns, one of which seems to be named the Stork and the other seems to be named the Braggart's Rest. And as the road goes round the side of the temple and down towards the docks, you see a very small, a sort of storefront, effectively, but it's like a sort of craft store. And it seems to be manned by a very ginger-looking dwarf who seems to be limping back and forth between 2 groups of women.
Well, no wonder people get here and don't want to leave. Look at what we just came from.
This is a much nicer city.
So you pull in, and the carriage driver tells you that he is going to put the horse in the stables, and he'll probably be leaving the day after tomorrow to go back down. And it's about 7 o'clock in the evening at this point. So,
Okay.
What do you want to do?
I need a bath.
So this is port side, so there's an ocean next to us?
At the docks, there's very much an ocean at the docks. There are a couple of fountains just around the town, and there seem to be groups of women sort of congregating around them. Again, you don't see any men at all here, but you do see quite a lot of pregnant women. I'm
gonna go check out the fountains and see what the water looks like there.
Okay. You look in the fountains. The water seems completely clear and very, very, like, clean.
These are just like statue thing, like just like kind of pools of water, or are they like...
They seem to be like quite elaborately carved fountains that seem to sort of depict like the sea. That's really about all I can say. They're very elaborate, very like, intricately carved. They look like they would have taken a lot of work and quite high craftsmanship.
Yeah, I'll just like cut my hand and reach in and just taste the water and spit it out again. See if it's all water.
Taste the water tastes completely clean and actually surprisingly delicious to you.
I want to go speak to one of the groups of women.
Okay.
Just come up to them. Hey, ladies, y'all are looking very lovely today.
All of them seem to immediately be like, "Oh, hi, you're new in town. Hi," and they all seem to be like quite fawning over you.
I'm gonna be, yeah, I'm a little new, and make it a point of looking at pregnant ones and just think, gorgeous. How far along are you?
One of the pregnant ones you talk to sort of like, she giggles to herself and says, "Oh, I'm only like 5 months along."
Oh, your husband must be so proud.
She just sort of smiles and says, "Oh, I don't have a husband."
Oh, you don't? That's, oh. So, who's the father then?
She sort of smiles at you very sweetly and says, "Oh, that's a secret I can't tell you."
Oh, now why not?
And she sort of just giggles, and the rest of the girls sort of go, "Why, you wanted to be a father?" And you're just like...
I might could be. Especially if it's with one of you lovely.
They all seem very, like fawning over you, like very interested, and they go, "Oh, well, if you want to do that, first you need to come with us and get a room at the inn," and they lead you down towards one of the inns.
Which inn are we going to?
Yeah, they're taking you towards one called the Stork.
The Stork? That makes a lot of sense. Give me just 1 second. I'll meet you guys in there. I gotta go grab some. You might like them. There's a really small one with a lot of energy.
Okay. So, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna run back to my friends and be like, these guys are all crazy. I don't know what to do.
Well, it probably didn't help that you threw yourself at them. Gosh.
That usually doesn't...
Well, you've seen you. I'm just saying that these women are very interested in not your personality. And so I think that we need to go undercover. And I've got a couple dresses that I think would fit Cricket very well.
Cricket has already left to Anders' stall.
Going full Mulan with this one. Does this dress me bad?
What do you guys think about being incognito? Well, obviously, Chris, you're not going to be able to go incognito because they have your scent.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the stall.
Nobody wants to wear my dress?
I wouldn't fit.
Do you think that just because I'm an elf, I'm feminine enough to pull off being a woman?
Yes.
That's a little bit racist, but not wrong.
That sounds like a yes to me.
I'm doing it. Let's go.
Pretty.
Okay. So, cut to Anders' stall at this point. So, is it Cricket and Chris that are down at Anders' stall?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, as you approach, there's this ginger dwarf who's very much sort of hobbling between two groups of women, and as you get closer, you hear, "No love that, no love that. How many times have I tell you? No love that. Don't do that." And he seems to be having a fight with one of the girls.
You okay there, friend?
You hear him sort of say, "How many times have I tell you? Don't do that. You'll just waste gold." And he looks up and sees you, and he goes, "Oh, hello. How can I help you?"
Yeah, the name's Chris. This is my friend Cricket. We are actually looking for an old companion of ours.
Oh, aye. What do you look like then?
Kind of like me. Pointy ears, slender face, pretty good looking.
I see. And what's his name then?
Is Dorian?
Don.
He
Don
sort of
Please.
looks like he's thinking for a couple
Don
of seconds,
Whisper.
then shakes his head and goes, "Nah, never heard of him.
You sure you never heard of him?
If I have heard of him, he's not rang any bells with me."
He would have passed through here about a year ago. Friend, a merchant, trying to make a name for himself.
I'm old, lass. I see a lot of people in a year. Won't remember him, unless he's made a, vast impact on my life. He's not going to be bringing many things for me.
Well, you seem to be friendly with a lot of the townspeople here in an institution such as yours. He said he married a girl named Melia.
Melia? What's she look like?
Oh, can't say. She just wrote home about her. That's why we're here.
Oh, nah, I've never heard of Amelia.
Do I feel like he's lying to me?
He looks just genuinely just like, yeah, but you can roll perception to see what you think.
Yeah, I want to look at him really intently. Oh, nope. That's gonna be a 5 in total.
You're convinced he's lying to you.
Okay, I'm gonna nudge Chris, just give him a head shake. Hand by the throat.
Yeah. Are you sure you never heard of Dorian?
He just sort of looks at your gesture and goes,
What's that? No, I've not heard of Darren or whatever he's called. Why would I heard of him? Did he come up here and tell me that he wanted to be morphed into a dwarf or something?
No, he sent some letters back saying he did some dealings with a dwarf, and so far you're the only dwarf we met, but we did just get into town.
Well, if he did with a dwarf, it would have been me, because I'm the only one in town, but he's not left any memory, and if you're asking me over a year ago, then you're out of luck, because there's no way I'd remember it.
I think his last letter was about 5 months ago, so he was here for about 7 months, as far as we can tell.
the dwarf sort of shrugs and goes,
I don't know.
and at this point you hear like a and he turns and he goes,
Oh, for fuck's sake!
and goes over and starts like yelling at one of the girls who is like in the middle of like trying. She looks like she's trying to make really elaborate jewelry, but she seems to have like snapped it really obviously.
Yeah, alright, well, he's a little...
At this point you notice Anders has a really withered left leg. It seems to have been like significantly damaged or significantly injured.
I'm gonna pull Chris down to my height. I just imagine he's way taller than me. We should send Render back to ask about the necklace. Tell him that Dorian bought a necklace from him and describe the medallion.
Dorian bought a necklace?
Well, he didn't, but Dorian was wearing a necklace, and maybe that will jog his memory. And if we say that Dorian bought something from him, might shake him out, because he didn't want to sell anything.
Yeah, okay, I don't know. We'll go get Renda, let her try this.
Okay.
So, do you see Anders going back to work? What are you doing now?
Probably just gonna head back up to the party, and I gotta get going. I left some people hanging, and I'm gonna run the stork.
Okay.
I'll grab Render and anyone else who wants to go. But Render.
Cricket, meet my new friend, Kyrin. Yesterday, Kyron, who's in my dress now. And I've braided his hair beautifully, might I add.
Okay, cool.
Hello there. It's
Hi.
a pleasure to meet you.
Okay, so he's way shady. He's so shady. Super shady.
Cricket, it's me.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm talking about someone else.
I think it fooled her a second. Don't worry. What was that, Cricket?
I'm a boy.
But fooling everybody, Cricket.
Yep. Cool.
Anyway.
So very frazzled. This guy, Anders, the merchant that wouldn't sell. So he's saying he doesn't know Dorian, but I'm 100% sure he's lying. He's super, super shady. And he's got a weird limp. Anyway, I need you to go down there and say that Dorian brought or sent a necklace back to you as a friend, because obviously we think he's married. I don't know. But tell him that Dorian bought a necklace from him and it broke and you need him to fix it. See if it shakes anything out.
Okay.
Because remember he wouldn't sell to Dorian?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I'm going to go with you.
But
You're coming
we
with
would
her?
probably need a necklace in case you want to look at it.
Does anybody have a necklace?
I do not.
Have a fishing rod. I have a steel mirror. Do you think that would be something he'd be interested in fixing? And I'm gonna smash it.
Right. I like it. Let's go.
Okay.
Well, that just brought bad luck.
But I didn't think about that. Here we go.
Okay. So you smash the mirror. You pick up most of the pieces you can when you start. Is it just you going down, or is it you and other people?
Who's coming? Anybody want to come?
I'll go.
I'm taking Squashy with me to the inn.
Okay.
I'll follow Render and Kyrin.
Okay. So we'll do Anders stall first. You come back, and again he sort of looks at him and goes,
I see you're back.
Yep. This is Render. She's Dorian's cousin. Through marriage.
He married his cousin.
No.
I'll never understand you humanoids and you're marrying your own family.
No, that's fine.
You know
That's
what?
fine.
It's kind of like a distant cousin type thing, what with him being a friggin' elf and me being a human. But that's not what it's important. I was unpacking my bags, just put away my stuff, and I smashed this mirror. And I was hoping, I had some questions to ask you, but really, could you fix this? I'm gonna hand it over.
Glances at the mirror and looks at you and goes,
I'm a goldsmith.
Perfect.
That's
Great.
a steel mirror.
I'll take a gold one. So, I had some
Have you
questions.
got the gold to give me to make it?
Well, how much do you want?
I just want the raw gold to make it.
Okay.
I hand over 50 gold pieces. Cricket does.
he sort of looks at the gold coins and goes,
No, this is gold coin. I don't want coin, I need ore.
and he sort of leans behind the thing and he takes this slab of gold ore and he holds it up to you and says, this,
I need this. It's the only thing I can use to craft anything. I need
Okay.
this if you want anything, but all I have is already taken.
and he puts it down.
Well, then I guess I've just got questions for you. So,
Well, you can keep your gold. I have no need for it.
thank you, and I'll take it.
That's fine.
It's back
my
of gold.
God.
So, my sweet, distant, very distant cousin, super distant, but we were very close personally. He sent me back this necklace that had gotten broken. It was what did it look like? It was this pendant, and honestly, I don't actually know what the pendant looked like. I don't think we...
Pendant.
I took notes about it, if you'd like.
Okay, what the pendant looked
It's a circle of metal, and then it has rope intricately tied around it.
So, this pendant was like a circle of metal with a rope tied around it. And do you have any idea where I might find another one?
He just sort of gives you a very blank stare and goes,
Right. I don't think you listened to me the first time, but I'm a goldsmith. I make golden jewelry. I don't make steel mirrors or, bits of pendant with a wee bit of cord on them. I make gold jewelry on request for any woman in this town that brings me the gold. I don't make jewelry that gets sold outside the village. I'm not really sure what you're trying to peddle at me, if you'd want me to buy an ore or something that I'm not used to, but there's
I am
nothing you're doing to me at the moment.
because I did smash this mirror and I'd really like another one. Where do all of these women get this raw ore? Just this, where do they get it? Where would I go about getting it if I wanted you to make me a mirror?
Oh, you'd have to speak to the matriarch about that.
And where would I go to do that?
he sort of looks up at where the sun is and goes,
By this time, probably in the school during the evening prayer.
Okay, all right. Well, hopefully I will be right back with some business for you. And I'm gonna quickly leave.
okay.
During all this, did I notice anybody noticing that Kyron was a man? Did they?
They seem to have basically started ignoring him since he started putting the dress on.
Okay, nice.
I believe these dresses make you invisible.
So we will cut back to the inn, which is Squashy and Chris. So you walk into the inn, and immediately all the girls that are there immediately just start flooding over you and being very much oh, you'll be really happy here, and taking you, sitting you down at tables and starting pampering over you, bringing you all these really nice foods and drinks and giving you
massages and everything as you're
sort of sitting down at the table and you're just okay.
Yeah,
Well-
this.
Where did you take me?
I figured you like place.
I don't like this. So I'm trying to shake off the women rubbing my shoulders.
But they're completely all over you and completely trying to dote all over you, being what do you want, little one? Do you want the finest food? Do you want the finest meats? Do you want fish? What do you want?
He'd like a sponge bath if he can.
Just a bath by myself.
No, he'd really like some help.
Nope, by myself.
They sort of all gesture and go, oh, we'd love to give him a sponge bath, but the last man we gave a sponge bath to, well, and they look at one of the girls who goes very red in the face, and then they look back and say, she ended up getting And one of them sort of leans close to you and goes, impregnated.
Oh.
We can't have that again. I mean, the scandal it caused, just, the matriarch wouldn't be happy.
Oh, I doubt she would, so maybe,
Squashy's just glaring
I mean,
at Chris. Just
you could probably just prepare a bath for him and leave some sponges around and he could do it himself.
Oh, we can do that for him. And you see a couple of them, like, running off to a room upstairs, including 3 of them carrying this, like, cast iron bath up the stairs, and then 1 or 2 of them running with, like, looks like burning hot water.
I'm going to get boiled alive. It's on you.
Good luck. I think at this point, I'd probably just pull one of the girls aside, or any of them, just like, hey, have y'all ever heard of Amelia? I think she's got a reputation. I've heard of her before. She came from here.
A couple of them, like, when you pull them aside and ask them, they go, Amelia? No, I've never heard of Amelia. Where's she from?
I've heard she was from here.
All the ones you ask don't seem to have heard of her.
Alright. You guys ever... I'm just gonna kind of get sly now and just be like, have you ever seen any other elves around here? Or am I just the most gorgeous thing you ever seen?
They are completely bowing to your ego and being like, oh, you're gorgeous and beautiful and everything, and they're just like completely like lacking up to your ego. You're basically like drowning in how great you feel at the moment. They basically tell you that they've not seen anything as good as you.
Alright.
And at this point, a couple of the girls come down and start like picking Squashy up and taking him upstairs. And as he gets to the top of the stairs, he gets sort of like pushed into a room, and in the middle of the room is this enormous bath full of like hot water, and they say, everything you need is here. We'll just be outside if you need us, but remember, you have to have a towel on at least if you want to talk to us. We're not allowed to see. And they sort of look either way and start giggling, and then they close the door after them.
I just take off all of my clothes because I get the sudden realization that they won't talk to me if I'm naked.
So yes, well, Squashy's currently in a room with a bathtub, completely naked. So, so cutting back to everyone else and leaving the inn for a minute, what are the rest of you doing?
Cricket wants to skulk around the city until it gets, pretty dark, and I want to sneak my way around the temple and investigate a little bit.
Okay, so is everyone else just joining and following you, or are they doing their own thing?
Brenda, I do think that it might be best if we were to go and have a chat with this matriarch.
I think so too. I think that's a good idea. I think that we should pretend to want to move here and join this cult. And maybe they'll tell us what their secret is. Where in the world all the guys?
Okay, so where are you going to go to meet the matriarch?
Was it Ender said that she would be?
He said that she'd probably be in the schoolhouse.
Yeah, we'll head that way.
Squashy is blowing bubbles.
This image of Squashy sitting in a puddle of water just blowing bubbles to himself.
Yep.
So, as you arrive at the schoolhouse, you see a group of, it seems like a group of kids, but they're all female, and they seem to be between the age of about 4 and about 16, 17, and they seem to all been gathered like a sort of assembly. And in front of them, facing them, seems to be this woman who, like every other woman here, she's dressed in this gold finery, but she's got a lot more jewellery than everyone else, and she has this solid gold bracer on her left arm. And as you get close, you basically hear her raise her arms up and say, "Let us begin," and you hear the following. "Praise to she who waits beyond the waves. We thank you for this day. We ask for your protection through the night. Shield us from the great cold one and the deep below. Speak to us in dreams and intercede in our days, that we may know your glory and grace. Blessed be." And as they all sort of can repeat "blessed be" again, she sort of bows to them, they bow to her, and the assembly begins to disperse. And the woman turns round and notices you and says, hello there. How can I help you?"
Real quick, is the left thing significant? Do any other women have left arm with a bracer?
She's the only one that seems to have this bracer. All the other women seem to have really elaborate jewellery, it's gold earrings, gold necklaces, gold rings, gold bracelets. Pretty much every other bit of their jewellery wise is solid gold, and it seems to be lots and lots of it everywhere. It's almost very fine net worth of gold all over them. Whereas this matriarch seems to have this solid gold bracer.
Okay. Now, Drender.
hello. We just got to town, and it is such a beautiful city, and already we're wondering just how we would go about living here. Just been looking for a new start.
Oh, my child, you wish to come live with us. That is wonderful news. Well, first of all, you have to prove yourself that you wish to genuinely be a part of our community.
Well, I think I'm ready for just about anything.
Well, first of all, you need to learn about our religion. I mean, have you heard the glory that is about she who waits beyond the waves?
You know, the only thing I'm really familiar with is simply that prayer you just said. That's all I know about this.
Ah, then, my child, we will need to arrange for you to come here every day for several weeks till you learn our ways, and, the schoolyard teaches the best. I mean, if it can teach our children, it can teach you just as well.
Perfect. And I certainly want to fit in. Where would I go about getting all this jewelry and just...
Oh, my child, don't worry about that. That will be explained and will come in time.
Well, I am certainly so excited. So terribly excited. This opportunity. Kyron, would you like to add anything?
She turns to Kyron and says,
Ah, sister, do you wish to join our commune as well?
Well, I was just following my friend Brenda here. I am a bit curious. I don't know. Do you have some sort of pamphlet? Something that I might be able to get a
We
little...
don't believe in pamphlets. I mean, the written word can spread lies. We tend not to, abide by it. We tend to all be about speaking together and singing and speaking to each other.
Those are 3 of my favorite things.
Would you be happening to give us an example of one of these songs?
Oh, my child, my singing voice is long since left me, but if you come tomorrow morning, we will have the morning prayer, and the children will sing, and you can hear them.
I would love that. Well, I thank you for your time, and we will...
Oh, you are more than welcome, my daughter. I mean, you are wanting to become part of our community as well, are you not?
Definitely.
Good, good. Well, my child, we accept all who wish to join us. I mean, I have heard many, many times that there is a lot of resentment from outside, and I'm afraid that there is some form of a vetting process, which is the learning of our ways before we can accept you properly, but take this not as an insult, take it just as us being thorough, that those who do finally join us and be a part of our community are only actually here to benefit each other. We don't want to take someone in who will just upset my girls.
And I seem to see that there aren't only women. Is this only open to women, or are allowed as women?
You kind of cut out, but I think I got the gist of it.
I'm afraid that she who waits beyond the waves is effectively only a mother figure, and men are free-spirited. Men do not crave the love and caring of a mother figure in their life, and I'm afraid that men don't seem to follow the same religion as we do.
Amen. So they're not allowed here?
Oh, my child, they are allowed here, but we only really have use for men when the work is here. I mean, there are many ships that we have built that the men arrive and they help build these ships, but once the ships are built, the men are offered contracts to go overseas, and many just take those contracts and leave.
Well, this all sounds wonderful. Is there anything that we should do to be prepared for tomorrow?
Oh, my child, just rest and be ready to learn.
Okay, first day of school. So excited.
So are you doing anything else, or are you just bidding your goodbyes to the matriarch?
I'll just bow and then leave.
So where are you going to go now?
Probably back to the inn.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you arrive in the inn, you walk in to see Chris basically being doted over. We're talking he's getting his shoulders massaged, he's getting his feet massaged, he's lounging in a sort of long chaise longue style thing. He's basically being hand-fed grapes. And you notice that there's no sign of Squashy at this point. What do you do?
I would go and sit down at a table next to, not at the same table that Chris is at, but next to.
Okay.
Is he on a bench or
He's kind of on a bench, yeah.
Okay, so I would, if it's booths, I would sit so my back is, if the booth wasn't there, we'd be touching backs.
Yeah. So you and Render sit down. You are completely ignored by the girls that are doting over Chris.
I'll just kind of try and whisper my shoulder to Chris and just be like, "Where did Swashy go?
Yeah, are you part of the ensemble here too?
I will murder.
Oh, hi. Squashy's he's up taking a bath. Got a couple girls draw a sponge bath for him. He's okay. And I'm just go back to eat some grapes.
I'm gonna go check on which
Okay.
room.
I have no idea.
Very good. And then I will head up the stairs.
Room that has all the yelping coming out of it.
I don't hear any of that.
You head up the stairs, you see there's a room with 2 girls standing outside, both of which seem to be like having their hands like blindfolds and like brushes and like towels. And as you get close, you hear the sound of splashing from within. And as you move to go in, the 2 girls go, no, you can't go in there. There might be a naked man in there.
Oh, he doesn't have anything that I have.
And they go, oh, but, we can't have, women and naked men combining. I mean, what if you got impregnated?
Oh, don't worry. He's a eunuch.
You're not here.
I followed you.
Did you?
Yes. And he's a eunuch. Don't worry.
So they look at you confused and go, he? But what do you mean?
The goofy little guy in the bathtub.
Oh. So
He's-
they kind of go, wait, the dwarf inside is a eunuch?
He's actually a halfling. And yeah, he's no danger as far as impregnating goes. So we're just gonna go on in.
You immediately notice both the girls that were standing there just go, ugh, they drop what they have there and just walk down the stairs. You open the door and Squashy is sitting in this bathtub, blowing bubbles.
I'll close the door behind us. What are you doing?
Get myself clean.
I guess
What are
that's
you-
fair.
You doing in here? Why you dressed like that?
Did you miss that whole part of the plan? Well, turns out if you tell them you don't have anything down there, they don't care about you either.
Turns about if you're naked, they leave you alone.
Or if they think you're a eunuch.
What
They
are you
might
talking
think
about?
you're a eunuch.
Why?
You're
She told
welcome.
Why are you here? And I'm just gonna...
Have you found any information about anything here?
No, I've just been smelling like a sweaty pig. They're real bad at this journey.
I'm so glad that you're being paid to investigate this missing persons thing. And then I'm going to turn and walk out the room.
Okay.
Just gonna go back to blowing bubbles.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm out.
So, is Render and Karen heading back down then?
Yeah.
You head back down, as you said before, Chris is sort of lying around being fed grapes very happily.
I'm going to go try and order some food and see what happens. Like, order some food and drink.
You go up to the bar and you basically say, how about this food? And the barmaid just blanks you. Because she's like, sorry, I'm too busy getting more grapes for, our man friend over there.
Oh, he can wait. And I
She
will
looks
pull
at
out.
you with just like, I can't believe you just said that expression. And she goes back to just busying herself.
I'm a little low on grapes here. Can I
my
can I get some grapes?
I'll take him to him.
She basically puts them in a sort of like elaborate bowl and she goes, no, but you can't take him to him. I mean, you've already said that, he doesn't matter. We can't have that. He must be praised. And she sort of carries this bowl over towards the rest of them.
Is there a plate or something nearby?
And there's a couple of empty plates, yeah.
I pick one up. I look at Chris and I'm throwing it. And then I set it back down and I'm like, it's not the time. I just turn to look at Render and I'm like, this place is awful.
Uh-huh.
So on that sort of comedy note, we will swap to Cricket. What's Cricket doing?
I would like to wait until it gets nice and dark, and I'm gonna investigate this temple, see if there's any guards around it, or if there's like a
Getting
high.
relatively dark now, so we'll say it's dark enough for you to have a look at the temple now.
Okay.
As you walk up to the temple, you notice that there is definitely candlelight coming from it, and as you walk inside, you see there's like hundreds and hundreds of candles that have been lit.
Is there anybody inside?
There are currently 2 very pregnant women that are sitting around praying and stuff. You walk in and there's like a set of pews on the left, a set of pews on the right, and in the centre there's this like big congregational space.
Okay.
And at the front is where all these there's a sort of altar as well, but for the most part on the front there just seems to be this like a pulpit and then lots and lots and lots of candles.
Okay, I'm just gonna hang back, because in what little shadow. Is there a second floor to the temple? A staircase?
There doesn't seem to be anything that you can see. You can roll to try and find more if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna duck outside and try to find a second story window. See how big it is.
Okay.
Roll perception?
Yep.
19.
19. You look up, there doesn't seem to be a first floor, but you sort of look around and you do see a very small slit in the floor, and as you look down between two entrances to the temple, you do see a sort of grate that looks like it leads to a set of stairs. So there does seem to be a floor beneath the temple.
Okay. Is there anybody in close proximity to that grate?
Not really, no. It would be a very tight squeeze, but you could get through it.
I'm gonna go through it as stealthily as possible.
Okay, so roll to remove the grate.
18.
Yep. So you remove the grate and you slide through. You're currently standing in a stairwell that seems to lead up to the temple or straight down to another room.
Down. I'm gonna go down.
So you head down into the room. You walk into this strange chamber. There's like a sort of table in front of you, and to the left there seems to be another exit out to another different chamber, and there seems to be some kind of boxes and barrels and stuff around the back.
I'm gonna do a quick look at the boxes and barrels, see if there's anything
Okay.
interesting or bolted down.
Roll to see what you find.
14.
You find a couple of very strange items, and one of the boxes seems to be full of like armor pieces and like a couple of old weapons and things like that. Some very strange items.
Okay. Is there anything small enough?
At this point, you suddenly feel a sort of very heavy thwack in the back of your head, and everything goes black.
Okay.
So we'll cut back to the inn. So what are you guys doing in the inn?
Squashy will be coming down.
Is Squashy wearing clothes?
Yes. You caught
Squashy still scratching?
Can you wash away crabs?
That's a good question. Am I? Do I roll?
Roll to see if you've managed to drown your crabs.
All right, let's drown them. 12.
No. They're resilient motherfuckers. So you've not been able to drown away your crabs. So Squashy has come downstairs now. So what are the rest of you doing?
I think Chris is gonna be trying to. He's having the time of his life. Just gonna, hey, ladies, I'm having such a great time. But you know what would really make me truly happy if you guys wouldn't mind? I'm looking for a friend of mine. His name is Dorian. Any of you guys seen him?
They all kind of go, no, we've not seen any Dorian. But if we see him, we'll let him know that you're here. I mean, surely all must know of you being here. I mean, you're wonderful.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Have you guys ever heard of someone named Melina? Melia is her name?
Again, they all sort of shrug and they go, no, we've never heard of her.
Alright, well, I mean, it's getting late and I'm getting really, really sleepy.
They sort of like go, oh, then you want a nightcap to sleep, and they bring you this crate of sort of green coloured alcohol, and they pull out an off-you bottle. You open the bottle and sniff it. It stinks like pine, and they're like, oh, it's Retsina, it's the thing we make here, it's our own alcohol, we build it here, we use it for everything.
Thank you, ladies, but I've got a very specific diet. I can't drink before I go to sleep, otherwise I have very bad stomach throughout the night, and I don't stand.
They all basically start talking about how delicate your stomach is and how brave soldier you are for But yes, they basically sort of push this crate of Retsina towards the rest of you. They've ignored the rest of you completely. Like, it's very difficult for the rest of you to get anything done at all. Since you told them that Squashy is a eunuch, they've completely ignored him too.
Wow, this is a change of atmosphere. Here I thought being naked was the solution.
So, at this point, the girls all seem to escort Chris up to a very sort of deluxe room where he's got this like gigantic bed, and he's got this like full, really comfortable looking room. And once he's there, they all come back down, and then they sort of like open a door towards the cellar where there's like 4 or 5 like, they look quite uncomfortable looking beds, and say, that's the rest of you.
I go down and lie down on beds.
Yep. So you go in, you lie down, and you're just like, this is really uncomfortable, and all you can hear is the sound of Chris snoring from through the roof.
Does anybody know where Cricket is?
I thought he was with you guys.
I offered him a dress. See, you know what? It would have been so convincing. I have no idea.
I'm gonna go and gonna go for a stroll. I can't find where Cricket is to.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna. It's still relatively early, isn't it?
It's about 9 o'clock at night at the moment.
Okay, I'm just gonna kind of do a general sweep of the town and just kind of keeping an eye out for kind of the major. Go swing by Anders' shop, back by the schoolyard, the temple, and everything. See if I can get any sign of him.
Okay. Is anyone going with you, or are you just going on your own?
Squashy would go.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay at the inn and ensure that nobody takes advantage of Chris.
Likely to be the other way around.
Yeah, well. Just making sure no babies come out of this.
Okay. So you have a look around the town. You can't seem to find Cricket anywhere. Like, the temple seems to be closed for the evening, and when you go up towards it, the doors seem to be like locked shut. And Anders' shop seems to have wound down for the evening, and everywhere you look seems to either be locked up or just closed for the night.
Maybe he's at the other inn.
Yeah, let's go swing by there.
Okay. You swing past the other end, where immediately Squashy gets like fawned over by lots and lots of women.
Oh, ladies, he's a eunuch.
As soon as
Sorry.
you say that, they immediately just stop and go, "Oh," and just ignore him again. But they treat you like, you know, you're at least there because there's nothing to distract their attention.
But you haven't happened to see another man come through here. Give a brief description.
They basically go, "Oh no, if there'd been a man here, we'd have had a far better evening."
Well, I do apologize, but if you see our friend, can you let him know that we're waiting at the other inn?
They sort of all agree, and you head back off towards the inn. The next morning comes, and as you sort of all wake from having a really bad night's sleep, apart from Chris, you come down to see Chris is awake and is being like fed breakfast from the same sort of like position he was in last night with grapes.
How many grapes does town have?
So the rest of you just sort of get ignored again when you try and get food. Eventually, after sort of looking at Chris enough, Chris eventually goes, "Yeah, just get them some food, and eventually this one woman turns up with like a bag of raw onions and a bottle of Retsina and just sits it on the table in front of you.
Why am I keeping up this shitty disguise?
Because I'm pretty sure they're gonna eat you if they find out you're a god.
This has been a roller coaster. They like me, they don't like me. They like me, like me.
You know,
Well, do you want to be liked or not? 'Cause I'm pretty sure you could just drop trowel.
Maybe. They don't like that. Think.
Keep your shirt on, you're not naked.
Fair point.
I'm a little worried about Cricket. I think that I don't know what we should do. He has not come back.
Yeah, I think at this point, Chris is, ladies, been wonderful. I am full of grapes. I would like to go explore the town a little bit. Anybody want to be a guide?
All the women sort of go, "Oh, but you should come and see our town, it's wonderful. Come to the schoolyard and learn about She Who Waits Beyond the Waves."
That sounds absolutely wonderful. I'd love to learn about She Who Waits Beyond the Waters. Can we maybe do that later in the afternoon?
They look slightly saddened, but they go, "Sure, where do you want to go first?"
I've heard a town is only as good as its prison, so maybe we should check that out.
They look at you very blankly like they've never heard that expression before.
It's well known in other parts of the world.
So you leave the inn and you head up towards the jailhouse. The jailhouse seems to be mostly empty. There are two girls cleaning it. They seem to be cleaning it with that pine alcohol they offered you the other night.
You guys use your alcohol as a cleaner?
Well, it's alcoholic. It's very cleansing.
Well,
And it
yeah,
lets everything smell like pine.
I can't disagree with you. Looks like you guys keep a very clean jail. Kind of look, and also I'd want to look around to see if anybody's recently been kept there.
You notice from the sort of record that one person has been kept there overnight, and when you ask about it, they tell you that it was a fight over... Two of them basically got in a fight about some guy in an inn, and they were determined that, you know, one of them was going to end up in prison.
So, who's the guy they were fighting over?
And one of the girls that's sort of cleaning it sort of takes her mask off and sort of looks you over and goes, "Oh, no one. I mean, if you wanted to spend time, it would be fine."
In the jail?
Well, there's a bed here.
No, I've got a nice room at the inn. It's okay.
They look slightly saddened, but they seem to accept it.
Okay. Well, thank you, ladies. I guess I'm off to the school now to learn about She Who Waits Beyond the Waves. Is that
They sort of, "Oh, you're about to learn about us. Oh, we love it when you learn about us."
Yeah, I'm kind of excited. And I'm gonna rush out.
Yeah, I think you're all together at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You all arrive at the schoolyard. It's about halfway through the day. When you turn up, you see that sort of class is in the middle of session, and you sort of stare through one of the windows at what they seem to be teaching. They seem to be teaching basically about the Great Cold One. And what they are saying is they seem to be talking about how if you're wicked or cruel or mean to anyone else, then the Great Cold One will come for you and drag you down to the depths of the ocean, where you'll live in this cold darkness forever and won't get to live in the sun anymore.
It's a little weird, but I think I'll walk into the school at that point.
Okay.
Just to see what it's like. Is the matriarch there?
The matriarch is not there, but as you kind of are there for halfway through the day, the matriarch appears at the sort of midpoint of the day and goes, "Ah, welcome, my children. I see you have came to the school."
And who might you be, ma'am?
"Oh, I am the matriarch of this small, insignificant town. Who might you be?"
Yeah, my name's Christopher. I'm kind of trying to find a new home.
"Ah, I see you're the one my girls have been fawning over. It's not often we get a fine young elf like you here."
Not often? You've had some before?
"Oh, it's been a long time since we had an elf here."
Oh, really? About how long? I'd love to speak with another fellow elf. I guess...
The last time we had an elf here was when the ships were being built. That's been a long time now.
What kind of ships?
Oh, they were trade ships. We built them at the docks to go over the sea.
And are they still here or are they gone?
Oh, the ships have long since left, but many of my girls are working in the docks. I'm sure they'd be able to help you.
Did the ships ever come back?
Oh, no. They travel beyond the seas from the clients that have asked us to build them, and then they are moved on to different projects. We only facilitate the building of these ships.
Oh, so you make the ships and then give them to the clients, right?
Well, the clients tell us how many ships they want, and then we hire the men to build them, and then the clients decide if the men are worth employing to keep aboard the ships, and many of them have been, so they keep their jobs and move on to greater times.
So do you have like a ledger of previous ships and the men that have been on them? Because I'm looking for a friend. I'm trying to see if maybe he got bought out.
You would have to ask at the docks. I don't think we keep such things, but I'm sure the wharf master would know.
Great, maybe that's where I'll head after this wonderful lesson.
So
yeah.
You continue to learn about She Who Waits Beyond the Waves and the Great Cold One, and it seems to basically be if you're a good, loving, caring person that, contributes all their life, they seem to be, when you reach a certain age, you become a fisherwoman, and then later in your life, you basically just walk into the ocean and you are taken by She Who Wakes Beyond the Waves. That seems to be the gist of their religion.
That's horrifying.
Who are you talking to?
Myself. Chris is just talking to himself. See, I think after that lesson, I'd probably let these guys know I'm gonna head down to the docks to see if I can get more information.
So, what are the rest of you doing?
I think I'm gonna go and start checking out the major points again and see if anyone has seen Cricket. And I'd probably like to have a conversation with Anders as well.
Okay, so you walk around the town, you don't really seem to find much, and then you go and speak to Anders. What is Render and Squashy doing?
I don't know. Render is going to ask the matriarch if there's any extra learning she can do. Or maybe she can go and try worshipping somewhere.
Oh,
perhaps.
my child, then come speak to us at the temple later tonight. I mean, it's the Eve of Wax, don't you know?
That is something I didn't know. What is that?
Oh, it is one of 2 events that happen in the year that are very important in our lifetime. I mean, they are all about using candles to celebrate those we have lost.
Well, it sounds lovely. I will see you there.
So we will cut back to Anders' shop. So Kyron goes up to Anders' shop, and the dwarf kind of goes, "Oh, you're back."
Why, yes, I am. Do you mind if I have a conversation with you in private?
What kind of thing would you be looking for?
Information, mostly.
He sort of looks over and... Can you actually do my perception check?
That would be a 10.
You notice, as he's got his back to you, he gives you a sort of like sideways glance with his eyes towards the groups behind him, and you notice that one of the groups of girls seems to be like perked up as soon as you've asked him that, and seems to not be working but instead is listening to what you're saying.
Preferably away from prying ears. And I'm like whispering so that she theoretically can't hear me.
He kind of goes,
I can't really get away from them. What do you want to know?
Someone's listening. Is there a time or a place that I could meet you?
He again sort of turns around and goes, No, I don't have any or I can't make you anything. And she immediately starts working again, and he turns around to the queen and says,
I can try and meet you in about 10 minutes, but I won't have long.
That'd be perfectly fine.
So, about 10 minutes later, you round the sort of back of the temple. Anders suddenly appears, and it's just the two of you in a very small corridor. He seems to look round, and the girls seem to be working away, and none of them have followed him. And he goes,
Right, what do you want to know?
Alright, well, my friend went missing, and there's a few things about you that interest me. One, you seem to have an injury on your left leg, and I've noticed that the second anybody with a pair of testicles walks around this town, all the women are all over them, but you seem to be left alone completely. Why is that?
Well, I got mauled by a sea leviathan and I woke up in this town. Last thing I remember was leaping out the boat, burying my axe in its face as it bit down on my leg. My axe fell to the deepest part of the sea and I woke up here.
And then he sort of goes,
As for why they leave me alone, they need me. I'm their goldsmith, I make their jewellery. I'm off limit as well.
Are you a prisoner here?
He sort of again gives a sharp glance to make sure nobody's watching, and sort of goes,
Aye.
I had a friend that went missing last night, a male, which is interesting. Do you know where he might be kept?
He sort of looks at you and goes,
Oh God,
he seems to sort of look at the sky and then look back down and go,
It might be that time of year.
What do you mean?
Listen, I don't have much time. There's something beneath the temple. You need to get there before tonight or your friend's dead. I've said too much already, I need to go.
Good luck.
And he walks back towards the thing where one of the women starts lecturing him about taking too long to go piss.
I will sneak around away and go and try and find the rest of the group.
Okay. So you all meet back up at the docks. So what are you doing?
Docks, because I knew Chris was going there.
I'm pretty sure Squashy would just be gone fishing.
Yeah, Chris is gonna find the wharf master.
As you get to the docks, you notice that there are literally about 30-40 ships that all seem to be unloading all these like vast cargoes of fish. And unlike the last few towns you've seen where the fish have been rancid, these fish look incredibly fresh, incredibly healthy. And as they're being sort of like taken along a line of women who seem to be like gutting them and like slicing them up for cooking, everything seems to be done in a very well thought out production line.
Are there any men at all?
Nope.
Alright. Can you tell who the wharf master is? Or anybody that might be in charge?
You come down to the docks, there seems to be a couple of women who are like on ships that seem to be quite elderly. I say elderly, they're a lot older than the rest of them, but unlike the rest of them, they don't seem to be wearing any jewellery. They seem to just really be in charge of ships. Like very small fishing ships, like maybe like 4-person rowboats. But they seem to bring back these massive hauls of fish.
This town is just all humans, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, apart from Anders, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Anders, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what else we can do here, guys. I don't really see this working out at the docks.
Cricket's under the temple, and if we don't get to him before tonight, he's dead.
Okay,
I
well
have
then
a distinct feeling that might be what happened to Dorian.
we should probably go to the temple then, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure I can make a good enough distraction for you guys to be able to do what you need at this point.
Might be worth it.
Okay.
Alright, we'll head to the temple.
You walk into the temple itself, and as you walk in, there's again like 2 or 3 pregnant women who seem to be walking around the front lighting candles. What do you do?
I'll probably walk up to them and try to just get as much of their attention as possible. Just ladies, I hear this is the place to come to learn about She Who Waits Beyond the Waves. Is that it?
And the sort of three pregnant women like smile at you. They don't like dote over you like the other ones do, but they are quite interested in talking to you.
I would take Render and Squat. Like, I don't think I went in. I'd probably be around, kind of searching around the back, or...
As I said, you can walk into the main door of the temple, or there's like a sort of slope that goes round to where Anders' stall is. There might be a side entrance, but if there is, it's concealed.
Okay, then never mind. Yeah, I would be in, and I guess just kind of trying to look around for a way.
If you do a perception check in the main temple room...
That's a 6.
Is it just you that's rolling?
I got a 15.
I got a 16.
At the back right of the temple, you notice that there is... You literally just notice in a breeze that there's a curtain covering a door.
I'm assuming that's not me.
Yeah, that's that's the other two both rolled. 15 and 16, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to elbow you in your corset and point it out.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to just try and eventually make my way to that curtain and as subtly as possible, since the women seem to not pay attention to other women.
Yep. They seem to currently be discussing with Chris the sort of elements of She Who Waits Beyond the Waves.
Yeah, and I'm going to try and slip in there.
So you slip through the door, or any of the rest of you going with them?
Yes.
Yeah. Squashy will be going.
Okay, so the three of you slip through the door, and you're in a sort of long corridor now that seems to lead... It's like stairs corridor that seems to lead down.
I'm going to walk quietly down the stairs, trying to, walk as softly as possible to not be heard, and looking around the corner before going and such.
You get to the bottom of the stairs, and as you look into the next room, there's like a stone table in the middle of the room. There's some boxes and barrels in the back, and there's someone standing in the middle that seems to be folding items of clothing you recognize.
Okay. Do we have our weapons?
You do, yes.
Okay. I'm going to try and sneak up behind this person and honestly probably just stab them through the back of the throat so that they can't know.
Yeah, roll.
14.
Yep, you walk up, you stab the sort of older fisherwoman through the throat. She sort of gargles and collapses to the ground as blood sprays all over the table. And as she's lying on the floor limp, you look at the table. This is definitely Cricket's clothes.
I will gather those up, drag the body into a corner, try and hide it behind some of the boxes, and...
As you look in the boxes seem to be full of, like, gear and pieces of loot and, like, random armor.
Okay.
And as you sort of look in the next crate of boxes, it seems to be crate after crate after crate of Retsina.
Oh.
Crate and crate of what?
The sort of pine alcohol.
Okay.
I would like to do some sort of a arcana or, I don't know, a magical perception check of this alcohol.
Okay. So there's nothing magical at all about the alcohol. It just seems to be incredibly high alcohol content.
Okay.
And even sniffing it makes you feel slightly woozy.
Are there any other crates in the room? Like anything else that we haven't
There's lots of boxes of gear, and there just seems to be these crates of Retsina. There's nothing really much else, but there is a door to the back left leading out.
I'm gonna go and open that door and go on through.
Okay. As you walk on through, you come to a very large chamber. In front of you, there seems to be this, like, enormous aqueduct, and to your left and to your right, there seems to be, like, women walking around in black cloaks with unlit torches. And at the other end of the aqueduct, on top of this bridge, the matriarch seems to be there, like, preparing. She seems like she's preparing to say something. And as you look to the left, sort of the right, the far right, you see that there are, like, kind of like a pirate wheel on its side. And between the spokes, all the way around, there seems to be men, like, tied to the sort of wheel, who have been stripped completely naked. And the stench of, like, basically shit, sweat, and Retsina is almost overpowering.
Do I see Cricket among those men?
You see Cricket tied to the wheel right at the end.
Okay. How many of these black-cloaked women are there?
There's about 40-ish, 50-ish. There's quite a lot of them. There's about 30 on each side.
Oof. Okay. I'm just going to kind of back out the door, hopefully not having been seen, and just kind of Render and Squashy are behind me, just kind of like putting my finger over my lips in the international sign for shut the fuck up. I'm gonna wait a minute to see if the matriarch starts saying anything, and if I can kind of keep the door cracked so that I can watch what the black-robed women are doing.
The women all start beginning to light the torches, and as you notice the last one has lit their torch, there seems to be a sort of ominous silence in the room, and the matriarch seems to walk to the front of the aqueduct and holds her hands up and says, "Ladies, ladies, the time has come." She raises her arms up and says, "May the mother bless you." And basically there's a call and response, so I'll try and do it as so you can tell the difference. So, "May the mother bless you, and bless us all. We raise our faces to hers, that she may look upon our hearts. We praise her name, we bless her name forever." Then the matriarch puts her hands together in prayer and says, "On this night, great mother who waits beyond the waves, we petition you with humble yet hopeful hearts. We bring before you these gifts offered by your daughters in the shore. Grant them peace. Guard and govern them. Bless them with your glory, that they may be faithful and bring forth your image to the land. Hold within your hands those who have passed beyond the seas, that they may greet us as we greet the water on our final days. With shining eyes and open arms, we pray you accept our humble offering of thanks, guide our days in peace and prosperity, and protect us from the great cold one who seeks to taint your daughters and drag them down to the deep below, far from your loving eyes. Count us among your chosen, and bless our meager gifts. Approve them, cleanse them, as we return their spirits to the sea. Scorn not the lesser set, but turn your kindly countenance upon them, and grant that they are able to accept your power, to walk by your side on the day you finally rise to walk upon our shore." And then she sort of puts her arms back out and says, "To the mother we pray, to the mother we come, to the mother they fall." And everyone repeats the same sentence as you watch two of the women walk over, grab one of the men off the wheel, drag him in front of the matriarch, and he's like on his knees in front of her, like swaying quite badly. And she just looks down at him with her arms still outstretched and says, "To the mother we pray." And as every woman in the room says, "To the mother they fall," she kicks him in the chest and into the aqueduct.
Okay.
All right.
Seeing that, I'm going to turn back to Render and Squashy and be like, what if he needs to go get Chris, and I'm going to shoot this bitch. And I'm going to pull out my bow and start, I guess...
Wait. I have an idea. Molotov cocktails with all of these bottles. We'll light them up. Smoke them out.
I like that idea.
Okay.
It's a bigger bomb than I was expecting.
Well,
I was just pull out my 3 empty flasks and just I had these, I have my oil and my lamp. It's gonna go burn on the end down, but this works.
Okay.
How big are the crates in the other room of this alcohol?
There's probably about 50 odd bottles.
Oh, so they're all bottled. Okay.
Yeah. They're all in very, very old looking glass bottles.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, we need to go quick.
At this point, you're watching a couple of men get unhooked from the wheel and dragged to the edge of the aqueduct and then kicked into the pit as this continues.
Tell Render and Squashy to go now, and I'm gonna cause a distraction. So I'm going to step out, bow drawn, and I'm going to just start yelling at her while they run to do their stuff.
Oh, okay. So there's multiple crates of this right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna start grabbing crates and chucking them off into the room below. And then the idea is that after everything has spilled or whatever, then to light it all up.
Okay, sure. So basically, we will do Siren doing the distraction first, and then we'll have you jump out with your bottles. Is someone going to get Chris, or is Chris just being left to just...
Squashy is gonna go get Chris.
Okay. So we'll have Squashy and Chris's interaction first, then we'll have everyone else, so...
Before Squashy goes, I'm just going to be like, try not to kill the pregnant ones, but if you have to, do what you need to do.
Oh!
Okay. You run up the stairs, and as you get close, you hear basically Chris telling them, "That's a really nice story." So you kind of burst through the door, and the women turn to look at you, and Chris is standing there with a very, awkward look in his face as he's trying to sound interested in their story about the women from beyond the sea. So, what happened when you burst through the room?
Squashy? Ladies, I'm sorry, my friend is a little awkward in the situation. He's a eunuch. Can we take this conversation out front? Because I was really interested in this story, and he's just cramping my style.
They look quite concerned that he came from that door.
Squashy just has this terrified look on his face as well.
I'm really trying to get them out the front door.
So one of them sort of puts her hands up to her mouth and just runs out the front of the temple. Well, runs as fast as she can out the front of the temple, and seems to be kind of trying to raise an alarm that you've come through the temple.
Yeah, ladies, please, if you would, could you please follow her? And I'm gonna kind of pull out my dagger and sword and be like, I insist.
The two of them just run screaming away, screaming, "Murderers, murderers."
I'm gonna go to that front door, close it, and use my padlock to keep it shut.
Okay. So you've padlocked yourself into the temple.
Yeah.
We're about to start a fire.
We're gonna figure something out. And then I'm gonna be like, what the hell is going on, Squashy?
We found Cricket. He's downstairs, tied to a shipping wheel, and maybe about to die. We gotta move fast. We're gonna blow this place up.
What?
We're gonna blow this...
Whatever. You take it too. I'm just gonna start running down the stairs.
Okay.
What about that? We're gonna point to the padlock.
That should hold for at least 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, we're all gonna die.
Yeah, we're just running downstairs at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, we're running back downstairs.
So we will cut to Siren.
I just arrow knocked and bow drawn. I'm just gonna step out, kick the door open, and pardon my intrusion, but you seem to have a friend of mine there, and I cannot continue to let you harm these people. And I have the bow pointed squarely at the matriarch.
Okay, let's see how the matriarch reacts. The matriarch, she seems to be in a trance-like state.
So she doesn't seem to react to me at all?
Doesn't seem to react. Her arms seem to be wide to the sides, and she seems to just be this far away look in her eyes.
Are any of the other women looking at me?
The rest of the women seem to be too busy dragging the men to the edge of the pit and then kicking them in. You notice a couple of men struggle, and as they struggle, they get their heads wrenched back and more Retsina poured down their throat.
I am going to shoot one of the people that is taking one of the men. Or is Cricket still tied up?
Cricket's still tied to the wheel, yeah.
Is there a person immediately next to him?
They're basically, the wheel that Cricket's on has only had one person taken off it at the moment, but a couple of the other wheels are half empty at this point.
Okay. I'm actually going to just try and shoot the matriarch in the arm. So it's not a kill shot, but I'm trying to knock her out of it.
Sure, roll.
22.
Yep, you shoot an arrow, goes straight through her arm, she spins round, and she seems to sort of come out for a second. You see her shaking her head, and then she's confused where she is, and confused what's happened.
Okay, and then I will draw another arrow and have it pointed at her.
Okay.
I don't believe you heard me the first time, madam, but you have a friend of mine, and I must insist that you let these gentlemen go.
She looks towards you. Natural 20.
Oh,
You see her do a sort of rise symbol, and the water starts bubbling in the pool.
I'll shoot her again. Going for a kill shot this time.
Okay, roll.
Total of 20, not a natural.
Not natural? Okay, that's fine. You shoot her, you basically shoot her right through the neck. She goes, "Ugh,
Sisters, my time has come."
and she just falls straight into the aqueduct. But the water continues to bubble, and as it bubbles, you notice something is beginning to rise out of the pool.
Okay, at this point, I'm gonna draw my spear and shield and just start running over to where Cricket is being held and, stabbing anyone that gets in my way. But if they don't seem to immediately try to harm me or get in my way, I'm going to just keep running.
Okay. We will do Render at the moment. So you're just throwing bottles at people at the moment.
Yeah, so while all of that is going on, I am probably taking the clothes out of the boxes and using that as the wicks for all of the Molotovs that I'm about to throw at these. Yeah.
Okay, so you have about, let's say, 30 prepared Molotovs.
All right, then I'm going to kick the rest of the box of retina down into the
Retina.
into the room and light that first.
How are you gonna light it?
I thought that there was a torch lighting the room.
There are torches in the room, yes.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna toss one of those down.
Okay, so you basically kick one of the crates of Retsinat into the room and then throw the torch after it. There's now a sort of blazing inferno around about maybe an eighth of the room at the moment.
Okay.
As you do this and Squashy and Chris appear from sort of running down the stairs, you see in the pool in front of you what seems to be something rising, and it seems to be humanoid in shape. It's like very greyish skin, and it seems to be like quite a big bulky humanoid, and as it kind of rises up and turns to face you, it opens its mouth and it's got these hundreds and hundreds of small dart-like teeth, and its eyes are they're bright white and they shoot back to reveal this thick black pupil, and it seems to rise with this humongous gold trident, and basically this is fishmen. And they seem to be very interested in the women, but then turn towards you and pointing tridents towards you as they see the fires and destruction you're causing.
I found Chris. He's here. Oh god.
Yeah, I think upon seeing all this and what's going on, the fishmen rising out, I'd probably grab a couple of those Molotov cocktails and just chuck them at the fishmen.
Okay. Roll.
And then do a finger gun fireball shot just to light them as they're in the air.
Alright, roll. I'll give you style points for that.
That's going to be a 13 total.
Oh god.
Okay, so they sort of smash, and they are lit, but they don't seem to catch as much as you'd hope because he's still soaking wet, but he is kind of bits of him are on fire. So there is sort of fire burning on top of the water as more and more of these fishmen start sort of rising from the depths.
How much of this Retsin do we actually have left?
You've probably used about a third of what you have, so you've probably got 20 bottles left.
Can we just help the water with it and light them all on fire?
Considering glass doesn't smash when you throw it on water itself,
yeah,
maybe, but you could try pouring it on, but again it might just dissipate, so it depends entirely how lucky you get with it.
I think I'll just keep waiting until more come out of the water and throw the bottles at them.
Okay.
As they come out.
So what's Squashy doing?
Squashy's gonna be pulling out his crossbow and taking a shot at the first fishman.
Okay, roll.
13.
You shoot arrow, it thunks into the chest of one of the fishmen, who just sort of looks towards you and just bellows.
Yep, pissed it off. Thumbs up.
So we'll now bounce to Karen, who I imagine is running towards Cricket.
Yep.
Okay, so you make it to Cricket, what do you do?
I'm just gonna slap him in the face to see if he's coherent.
He's coherent, but he's very drunk with all the retina.
Okay. Is he bound to this wheeler at all or anything like that?
Bound by wrists and ankles.
Okay, I will just use my spear to cut the bits, cut the ropes, and then probably just give him a prick in the hand to see if I can get some adrenaline to pump and try and sober him up a little bit.
Okay, so Cricket is now back with you. Drunk as fuck, but back with you.
Oh, hey, what? Mr.
You're drunk.
Mr.
We gotta
Carter?
get out of here.
What? Huh?
Come on, we got to get out of here. There are fishermen and fire, and the matriarch's dead. Let's go.
Fish heads?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I'm just putting his arm over my shoulder and just trying to
notice that there is another door that seems to be underneath the sort of stairwell that seems to lead to something.
Guys, I found another door. Let's go over here. And then I'm gonna point at it with my spear and then start trying to lead Cricket that direction. And if any of the other gentlemen are coherent enough, I'm going to try and cut them loose at the same time.
Most of them seem like a bit as bad as Cricket was, like totally drunk because they've been like drugged on the Switzerland.
So yeah, I've given up hope on them, honestly, and then just trying to get going that other door.
So you charge towards the other door. Is everyone else following you, or?
Yeah, I'd probably grab as many of those cocktails as I can, the Molotovs, and just be throwing them as we're running to the door.
Squashy would follow with that as well.
Okay.
Just grab it.
And what's Render doing?
I'm just gonna run for my life.
So you sprint towards the back door, you barrel through it. In front of you, there seems to be like 3 or 4 crates of loot that seem to be loading into the cart that you took to get up here. As you look to the side, and the cart driver seems to just sort of be too busy with the horse to pay attention to what's going on. What do you do?
Oh yeah, I'm jumping into that cart and we're taking off. I'm yelling at the cart driver, you can get in with us or you can stay. We're leaving.
Okay. So the cart driver sort of hurriedly attaches the horse to the cart and then climbs up. Are the rest of you just jumping on?
How close to Anders' shop are we?
Relatively nearby.
I'm going to yell, just be like, Anders, if you want to get out of here, come now.
And Anders is sort of hobbling towards your cart at the moment.
And then I just pull my bow and I'm just going to, like, shoot anybody that tries to stop him or us.
I'll pull my bow out too.
You said on the way out that there's a couple more crates, right?
Yes, there's a couple more. They've all got crates of loot, yeah.
Okay. As we all hop into the cart, I'm going to take my lamp, I'm going to turn it on and like throw it at the crates by that door.
All right. It's just crates of like clothing and weapons and stuff like that.
Oh.
That he's loading into the cart, right?
They were loading into the cart before he like stopped.
Oh, never mind. Not going to do that. Back.
Are you wanting to grab them on the way past, or you want to just let them by?
Yeah, I'll grab some. I'll just kind of hurry him up with getting his stuff in the cart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Help him.
So the dwarf bundles on, all the rest of you like charge in, and the horse frantically like leaves the town in this wall of arrows and fishmen and violence, and the sound, like, it seems like just as you're leaving that the sort of militia of the town have got together with these pregnant women screaming murderers, murderers. So as you're leaving, as the whole town is like trying to follow you with torches, you like sprint for your lives out of the town.
Yep.
You sort of run as hard as you can for the rest of the day, and you just manage to get back to the big city by nightfall. But literally the horse is completely exhausted, and as you get there, you notice the merchant sort of run out when he sees you arrive and goes, What happened? What became of you, my friends? What has gone on here?
Yeah, you're gonna need to probably get an army.
An army? Why? What happened?
I have to break some bad news to you. We could not confirm it, but I do believe that your son is dead. That town is run by a cult of people that every man that seems to go in there seems to be sacrificed to some god, and we did not unfortunately have time to confirm your son's identity, but I do believe that he has been killed.
Oh.
There's a lot of darkness in that town.
What were they doing to them? What happened to him? What did he suffer? I mean,
they were like feeding them retsin and then pushing them into the ocean.
Oh,
they sacrificed some god.
That's not a good sign.
And at this point, you just see Anders just like
looking, going, I'm glad to be free of that fucking cult.
Yeah, Anders here can tell you all about them.
Anders and the merchant sort of start talking, and the two of them sort of wander off as you're all now back, and the one shot is done. Well, you get your gold pay, then the one shot is done.
Cool.
So instead of just calling it there, we are going to have some plugging time. So the floor is yours. Please tell us where people can find you, and all the plugs you want to do. So away you go.
All right, so I am Aaron, the DM. You can find me on Twitter at properly_Aaron. I am DMing our D&D podcast Beyond the Tavern at BTT Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram that Krista here runs. We are a 5th edition actual play podcast in a custom-made world that I am running. If you do want to tune in and haven't listened to us before, start with season 2. A, our sound quality is better, and B, it's the cast that we currently have. You don't really lose a lot by not listening to season 1, but there are some references. But season 2 is a really good pickup point. So you can find the rest of these guys and I'll let them plug themselves.
So I'm Steven. I had fun playing today. Lots of fun. I play Cly on the BTT Pod podcast. You can find me on Twitter at SteveC1. And Joe?
Yeah, thank you. Jacob Joe. I play Talon on BTT Pod, Beyond the Tavern. I don't do much Twitter, but the few that I do, you can find me at GOJE0HH.
And I'm Emily, and I had a fabulous time today playing Render. She's very, very different than the character that I play on Beyond the Tavern, Nelia. She's just my favorite. She's kind of my spirit animal, and I'm so excited that I get to play her. But I am on Twitter sometimes, and my handle is Brunty Emily, BRUNTY Emily, and Emily is spelled like a normal person. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and we're just grateful that we had the time to play with our dear friends.
You can find me at Kaylin Vicarian on Twitter, on Instagram, and also our podcast Instagram at BTT Pod. And it was awesome. And we're so happy that we were here, and we mostly made it alive.
Yeah, thank you very much. This was so much fun to play.
No problem. Do you have anything else that should be coming out around mid-October that anyone would want to tune in especially for?
We probably will do a Halloween episode around later October, but no, nothing else that I can think of right now.
Okay. Where are you guys on? You on SoundCloud? You on Libsyn? Podbean?
Generally, our RSS feed is up through SoundCloud, so you can find us there technically, but we're on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play, and I'm trying to get us on Spotify.
So, anything else you guys want to plug at all? Anything coming up? Anything? You've got anything like Patreon?
Our Patreon technically exists. I don't know if we have the listenership to support that, but if you want to check it out, it's patreon.com/bttpod, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, no problem. Thank you very much, and I very much appreciate you being a part of this, so thank you.
Thanks again.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Lots of fun.
And with that, dearest friends, time has run out for our tale with our group of adventurers. We hope you'll join us in taking the time to support those that dare to traverse our dungeons, and maybe even listen to their own bard's tales, for what is a good story if not shared with as many folk as can be sang to? As for ourselves, you can follow the many tales of Penance RPG through both our Twitter or Facebook at Penance RPG. If you would like to support us in our endeavours, we have both a Patreon at patreon.com/PenanceRPG and Ko-Fi at ko-fi.com/PenanceRPG. All support, however small it may seem, is gratefully received and will assist us in bringing future projects to your ears.
And as the evil that was in the north returns to legend, and as another group are left changed forever, we only have this to say. Good night out there, whatever you are.